I don't want to give that up. But that's the very thing that's been hurting you. They don't take things out of you. Hey, anybody ever been told that they to stop doing something, eating something? It's usually something that you usually have to do or something you like doing. You become accustomed to doing. And that's the same thing when it comes to salvation. To save you, you got to go through your diet. You got to go through everything you're doing. That's the only way to help you. You're going to be saying, goodness, man, I love that. But you're here because of that, though. You know what I'm saying? And we don't consider that. But in everyday life, he shows us, how many of y'all going to the doctor and they said, I'm going to take some out your diet? You say, well, I don't eat it anyway. That don't make sense, does it? The stuff they're going to take out are stuff that you take, stuff you use, stuff you love, stuff you become accustomed to. You start trying to figure in your life, what I'm going to do now? And typically what we'll do is what we do with this. Well, I'm going to die from something. I ain't finna give everything now. You know what I'm saying? I can't be crazy. And a lot of times he shows us in our natural life that this is how we serve him. We try to see how to balance life and keep things that are detrimental to us. So when it come down to this shows us, but before we got to this point, we've already experienced in our life coming. Previous in our life, we've already experienced things having to be removed, things causing us ailment, things causing us trouble situation. It's not healthy. Like relationships, sometimes we had relationships, they weren't healthy. I used to fight women a lot. You don't look like that. Yeah, I'd beat the brakes off them too. I just was like that. And you think it's a healthy relationship because you was accustomed to it. It wasn't healthy. And there's a lot of things you learn you had to get rid of because at the end, it hurts you. It takes something away from you. It pushes you to extreme. It's not good for you. And that's what Yahuwah try to show us with these things that we entangle ourselves with in life. A lot of things just not good for us. You know, it don't matter. You said, well, the sex is great or we get along good on everything. It's just this one thing. It's just not healthy. It's not conducive for what you're trying to do. So there are things you just have to eliminate out your life. And you have to be willing. When you come here, you have to ask yourself, why am I here? Before you get out your car and come and ask yourself, why am I here? Because you don't know, you're going to have some problems. That's just being honest. You come to find out what's wrong. What do I need to fix? How do I get this right? And to come and not already have asked yourself those questions and be willing to say, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get better. You know what? A person that land on their deathbed and they'll be willing to say, yeah, I got to stop this now. And you don't realize that you're on your deathbed. Every one of us. So you can't afford to try to rationalize keeping something that's detrimental to you. It's the time you come back and you consider, I got to get rid of it for the saving of my nefesh. And make no mistake, you won't be the first person to do it. And you definitely ain't going to be the last. It's growth spurts. And you have to have your mind, like here, like me and Dave said, when we beat the brakes out, Uncle Tim, I want to call him by name, Haywood and Tim, I want to say, Leon, that's my boy. And just say, that's your boy, yeah. Well, when we beat it, it's levels to this thing. It's levels. One time we were sitting there, Tim, they had a pretty good hand. They were talking, Tim told her, he looked at her, he said, see, it's levels to this. Well, I mean, they look like Michael Jordan did that time when Major Johnson told him, said, look like you need to put on them Air Jordan. He said, Mike put that look on and took the game over and dominated. Whooped them real quick up right quick. And they told me, it's levels to this. So I say that to let you know, every one of us say it's levels. To getting where we at now, it was level. It took the baby steps it took. It took the things that we had to go through to get us here. Now we're looking at, it's time for other adjustments. The reason why the direction changed because we changed. And as we start to change, we start to transition. A lot of fights we used to have, fight Christianity, fight them and show them when they're wrong, fight them and show. I ain't got time to fool with that. Listen, everybody gonna do what's right in their own eyes. It won't be the first time. We just gotta make sure we doing what's right by him.
That's right.
When we look at the word and we find what the man say, let's just do that. What somebody else do, it's not my fault. That's not my problem. You find, y'all remember, before I get ready to start, y'all don't mind 1 second, pick up for me right quick where Yahushua was going around condemning other religion. Pick it up right quick. And then I'm gonna read this and then I get through this, then we're gonna move forward and something. Pick it up. Wait, we're cutting out.
I don't know where to look.
We the only people get ourselves in time. Y'all know that? You know he told them, he sent them out? Go to the lost sheep of Yasharal.
Yep. That's it.
You could have stopped when you want. I ain't no lost sheep. Preach to me. I wasn't even sent to you. Not just being honest. A lot of stuff people do. Why is it we can't find a book where they were going and kicking in 4 doors and stay on the street? You hypocrite. You finna go to hell going over that church. So I want to send to one group of people.
That's it.
I don't have that time. We don't have that time. Them days of listen. We only send to one group of people.
That's it.
That's not your fight. That's not your problem. You were there too. Who came and kicked your door in? Who came and snatched you in your car on the street? Well, what give you the right to do it to somebody else? Like leave well enough alone.
That's right.
Isn't that right?
Yep.
But like I said, don't put your head on a lion's mouth and tell me breath stink. Don't do it. It's something. Just stay out of. Let's stay with what's conducive for us. Let's make sure we're getting this right. And if we do what we're supposed to do and get it right, then anybody else that got the appetite for it, they will acknowledge and see. Look at the people and look at the knowledge those people have. Look at the way those people direct themselves. The fight part, I don't have time for that. You do that for years and years. You ain't gonna convince nobody that really trying to do what they need to do. They leave time. Who he gonna save? Who he gonna designate? They gonna come.
That's right.
Who he had, they gonna do the same thing they've been doing. At the end of the day, they ain't gonna put no more money in your pocket or no less. So something to fight people put up, it ain't worth it. Let's just stay focused.
Yep.
Y'all not telling, stay focused. You waste
right.
a lot of energy with people out here. Kill time and get to the end and find out, you know what, matter of fact, you ain't where you need to be.
That's right. Yep.
You've been so busy trying to get other people right, you forgot to get yourself right.
Yep.
So guess what we gonna do? Let's get us right.
That's right.
That's the most energy we got. You ain't gonna make nobody do nothing.
Mm-mm.
What cuss them out and threaten them gonna do? What they gonna say, oh man, since you threaten me and threaten and fight me, you and all your boys, I definitely want to live right now. You just turn somebody off.
Turn them off. That's right.
Let's just be honest. Let's just stay focused. That's the only thing we want to do. Let's make sure we getting it right, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody, you see a woman here, they come, ain't your job to go tell a couple.
That's right.
Business.
That's right.
Let people grow, they'll do what they need to do in due time.
That's right.
I'm running the street, what you doing with your head uncovered? That's a wig. I'm trying to hold on these little scribblets I got.
That's right.
If it's not about to say, you mind if I borrow a couple?
That's right.
I want to hold a couple of hands.
Right.
We ain't got time, man. Life's short.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? That's just being honest. The more I'm starting to realize, you'll keep going. And like I said, you'll waste so much, you'll waste so much energy on people when all you got to do at the end of the day, make sure you got it right.
Yes, sir.
In Acts 2 and Acts of the Charlotte King 2 and about 39, he said, with many other Dabarym did he exhort, saying, save
yourself.
He didn't make none of them people try to go out and save nobody else.
No,
so
sir.
save yourself from this untoward generation.
Come on.
He like the folk backwards. He said, you save yourselves.
Save yourself.
That's why that day, ain't but 3,000 got added.
Mm-hmm.
He told you it was more than that. Ain't but 3,000. And you know how the other people came? Daily.
Yep.
Every day people start converting.
Should be saved.
That's all. The one gonna be saved. Everybody ain't gonna
up.
take it the same. So what you gonna do? So when the 3,000 that receded, they told everybody, y'all gonna burn in hell, you rank sinner, you're a Christian. Left them alone. Just keep doing what you're doing. Every day, get what people doing. People add. Every day, people just add.
Yes,
people
sir.
looking, saying, don't make sense to keep staying out here. Time to get this thing right. I'm finna go on and come on in.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do it. People say them saying, you can start there, and people know who out there. Man, you start saying things change. Your age change, your desire change, you start your health change, you start realize, you start watching people dying and going, you realize, man, that's a dead end. You just sitting around waiting to go to somebody's funeral. You really ain't catching up. You ain't really matriculated into nothing. You just sitting around killing time. You can't club for so long. I started clubbing early. Man, junk get old. You know, you start realizing these the same people.
Same people.
You know what I'm saying? First you go, you're like,
Yep.
man, all these people, you start right there.
Yep. Same people.
It ain't no every week, it's all new people.
Nope.
Because all of them ain't got nowhere to go.
Same people.
Then they start looking for, I'm gonna go to a new club. When you get there, they're gonna stop being a new club too.
Yep.
Same people,
people.
right? Same people.
Yep.
You start realizing, ain't nothing changing.
Nothing.
People just going and it look like, man, they having so much fun. It get old.
Get old.
It get old, man. The same money, same lies,
Yep.
same stuff. You get tired.
Tired.
Same folk run to the same people, just get tired. You're like, who got time? You're gonna do it so long. You know what I'm saying? Any of y'all, how many of y'all used to club?
Put your hand down, DeAndre.
Prison, what is this? Did you club or did you not?
You wasn't in no club, Keon.
They come out everywhere. Did you club?
Bad, no bad one.
How about did you club? She's like, which one is it? How many of y'all didn't used to club? Didn't club. You didn't club. Yeah. Right? You didn't ever go to the club. Oh, you were cutting up at church though,
I ain't
wasn't
going to
you?
the club.
That was never.
I didn't go to no club. I was the club.
Check. I'm thinking the same thing. Check. Don't hear you the club. Who else said they ain't used to club?
Every day.
Y'all did the right thing. Yeah, ain't nothing out there. All they do is burn y'all. It look like I said, it's fun when you first go. You got to spend you 21. You want to get out there.
Oh, yeah.
Sprout your. I can only imagine what y'all felt like at 21 first time going to the club. I felt like that when I was 14.
14. 15.
And that time I got to 21, I was teaching other people at that point.
That's right. That's right.
You just sit back and watch.
That's right.
You just sat down and just watch. Isn't that right? That's how you do it. But I appreciate Matthatyahu though for keeping me. I could have got there and lost my life. I told y'all one time a guy followed me to the car. I got out there in the dog. It just so happened that guy had already killed somebody too. Ain't that something? I was 14. I got that girl. He wanted him, and he couldn't get him. Cause I ain't gonna lie to you. You know how it was. They put it out there. They put the table. It was 10 of them. 9 out of 10 chose Jill. What she was gonna do? She chose Jill, and he didn't like it. He didn't play that stuff either. That joker had killed somebody. He had beat him to death with a cast. That crazy. Well, he was in the country. But you don't know how crazy folks are, how stuff happen. Who will be a keeper? I could be a keeper. Him and somebody had walked down. I was walking with the girl going down there, minding my business. They had popped up down there on me. Just so happened somebody seen them. And they popped down there too. So that ended all that right there. But I just appreciate Mr. Hood. It could have went a whole nother way though. It could have been me down there, and it could have been me. I could have been the second victim he killed down there. And y'all guys would have never known me. She'd have lost her son at 14 years, and you ain't gonna believe it. And the world would have kept spinning. You ain't gonna believe when you leave him, the world ain't stopping. It didn't stop for Yahushua. Now he held it up for a little while. After a while, get what he let this. This thing gotta keep rolling. Now, if it'll keep rolling and he left him, what you think will happen when you leave? Don't put your heart in these people. Don't be thinking you everything to nobody. You everything to somebody up to a point. They'll start crying out the wild. Make no mistake. I'm just telling you, who the world don't stop for?
Nobody.
Folk done locked Dr. King. He was the greatest orator we ever had. I ain't gonna take that from the man. He was a great orator now. People have critics on other things he's done, but as far as an orator, shoot, you ain't gonna beat no better speaker. That man rumble your drawers off. You know, I'm just, Dr. King, they'll be honest. He had a voice. He could speak. Get a man credit for it. You ain't gonna have, they say, well, he was a plagiarist. Whoever said it first, I don't know that nigga.
Right.
I know King said it.
Yeah.
I hear you say it and King get right behind you. I said, man, you ain't said nothing. That's the first time I heard it came out of his mouth. And the man can speak.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just saying, guess what? It didn't stop for him.
It didn't stop.
Kennedy, America loved Kennedy.
Yes, sir.
They said the whole world, they said they lost a king that day when he died. Guess what?
Didn't stop.
Kept rolling. Ain't about stopping for nobody, man.
Yes, sir.
Keep thinking you everything. Don't let anybody tell no lie to you. You everything while you him, you gone. You'll be replaced.
Yes, sir.
People get another one. A mama, they'll get another mama, another daddy, another husband, another wife, another friend, another brother, another sister.
That's right.
So guess who you need to be concerned about? Yourself. Right. At the end of the day, you do what you can, but make sure you're concerned about yourself first and primary. Don't let anybody make no fool out y'all here. I don't learn. I don't watch people. People only go so long with you. Isn't that right? They'll love you 1 minute, next minute they'll want you dead. All right, let's we'll go ahead and let sound the covetous around. We'll try to see how much you'll have us to go. I don't know what I'm gonna do with Deuce. Let's stay entertained. Appreciate Mr. Yahuwah. Appreciate all he's done. Thinking about watching Deuce right down the Bryce. I remember Austin used to be behind me kind of like that. When he used to get in the car with me. He was young, about 4 or 5 probably. He got in the car with me one time. I asked him why he won't go with me. He said, if I'm gonna learn how to be a man, I'm gonna have to be with you.
That right.
In the car.
Yes, sir.
Stay up on my leg. He stay up on me, try to go with me. I wear a suit. He had to put on a suit. He started crying when they put on the suit. He said, I gotta put on a suit. My dad on the suit. They said I'm a little preacher. I gotta wear a suit. Oh, I had to find him a suit. And Bryce started coming out there, started going around with him. He kept going a couple of times. I said, why you trying to go with me and my dad? Why ain't going? He said, he just going because he know you gonna buy me something. I said, that's why you going? He like, yep. I think that joke like he found online. He like, no, he was going out to expose. That joke just going, you gonna buy him something. That number kids ain't it? Right. All right, this is Romans 15:4. Y'all know for those watching in who don't know, we're using the Beth HaMashiach, as I say all the time now. It don't mean we'll continue to use it, but we're using what's two for the union. And we, I'm not sold on any of these different programs simply because of, I said, I don't think it's any way to get a writing without getting an opinion. People don't believe it. A lot of it is an opinion. Like in legal term, they'll do when they call it a writ. A lot of times those opinions, when they have court and they go back and look at different rules, those opinions. And how they'll take opinions and they'll use them for formal rule for rulings that'll come later. This right here is what we're doing. We're taking Yahuwah's writ. This is his opinion for every behavior. This is his writ for every how he dictates everything. So it's important for us to take it. He's put his opinion, his emotions, everything in it. So when you take it, I want you to take it at face value. It says you need to look at it. Take a book. Every author won't write the same way. Every author has something different because they put a part of themselves in it. So it made sense when we first got the Turah, it made sense for him to write it. Or when we first got our laws, it made sense for him to write it. Yahuwah wrote it himself. And that's a part of him. He look, this is what I do. This is exactly what I do. Now I want you to know this is a part of me. This comes from me. And it's important for you to know that because a lot of times you might read things that other people have written and they came along and told it to us. You said, well, did you kind of like, I use somebody like Jahid. Jahid to come and tell us some stuff. Like he came in the office one day, he told me something, and I turned around to come out of there to get somebody. He said, hold on, stop. He said, you know, I added something on it. I'm like, wow. And when they told me what the person did say, it was nowhere near what was said. So that's why there's no way I could take this, because I had to take all these writers and Jahid. It'd be this much different between what was said. And in saying that, you know, humorously, but looking at when other people have gone to kind of translate and write what he said, it made sense when he would send other orators out and tell them this come from me. He let them know, say exactly what I told you, because your opinion gonna get involved. Your feelings, your emotions get involved. He said, I want you to say exactly what you told. You tell them, thus say Yahuwah, and say it exactly like I told them. Because there's a rationale behind it. And Yahuwah, maybe we'll look at it and see. How about that? All right, look at this, Romans 15:4. But I like this base. I like the whole concept of it. Listen.
For whatever you could talk before, you could talk to long.
Written before, written to show us, teach us, and direct us. So
that through endurance and through the Nakum of his being.
All the writings, consolation, and the patience of the writing, consolation from the writings.
We might have teeth.
We might have a cord, have an attachment. Pick me right quick at Yaramyahu, it came to mind. Yaramyahu, chapter 23. Let me see. 23. 23:1. Let me see what that's like. Since we there. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
That's right. Gotta be. We serving the only living Elohim. Well, he's the only one. There's more than one, but the other one's dead. We're talking about the living one.
That's right.
Isn't that right? So he's the only living one, so I'll make sure it's Yahoo. And we look at this because what it tell us. That's right. See, it didn't make sense for people not to believe what he told them. I'm saying. Okay. Pick me up right quick. Sit at Matthatyahu 16:18. Matthatyahu, they call him. And that's the gift of Matthatyahu. That's the gift of Yahuwah. I missed something. $16:18. Listen.
And I also say to you that you are a cup, and upon your sword I shall build my assembly, and the dog, the shield shall not overpower.
And the dog, the gate. Listen, excuse me.
I shall give you the keys of the Malkuth, Shamuth, and whatever you forbid on your lots shall be forbidden in the Shamuth, and whatever you permit on your lots shall be permitted in Shamuth. Then he commended his Talmudim that they must not tell anyone that he was the Mashiach.
What happened?
From that time on, Yahushua began to tell his Talmudim that he needed to go to Jerusalem and to suffer much from the hands of the Zakim and the Rosh Kohanim and the scribes, and to be killed, and would surely come on the third union.
So what was he telling them? He telling the end. He's telling you who are going to be exalted. He'll be lifted up. Ram, that's what it is. He's going to be exalted. He's going to be elevated. See, it was already foretold before that. That was the name of the man, Yaramyahu. Yahuwah is going to be exalted. So in order to be exalted, you're going to have to be abased. That's how many y'all, a lot of us are like, you want to be elevated, right? Then you got to be lower.
That's right.
To go up, you got to be lower. You can't go up if you're already up.
That's right.
Then you got to be lower in order to be exalted, right?
Yes, sir.
So a lot of times we look for things, we don't consider what does it take in order for that to happen. Isn't that right? That's spelling. What does it take?
Right.
So he had all of the writings, he had all of the Shem, the name, which was symbolism to what he was going to do. That Yahuwah was going to be exalted. And he wasn't no fool. He know in order to be exalted, you got to be a base. See, with us, we just want to go up. We just want to do better. Sometimes do better, you have to do worse. I mean, the way he takes you around and gets you to a point is a little different than how we kind of look at it. We look at this right now, just start going and doing. Sometimes he look at, no, you got to go backwards before you go forward. It works better. So you can see how far behind you are. Right. Okay. That's why he done told you. He told before, he said, your thoughts are not my thoughts.
That's right.
He said, neither your darakim, your ways. He said, they're not my darakim. They're not my ways. So to give you symbolism, he told you, he said, as the Shamaim is from the rise. He said, so are my direct, so is my darak than yours. So are my way than your ways. That's how different. As high as the Shamaim is, he said, that's how far off you at with the way you think and the way you rationalize and the way you process things and the way he does it. See that? You see that? Ain't that something?
That's right.
So you know what happened? In order to fix that, that's why we got to meet him in the air. Y'all get middle ground, got to meet.
Sure.
Hello?
Sure.
Because we're too far off. We got to meet him in the air.
That's good.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Which means we're going to have to be exalted. Isn't that right? And he ain't going to believe it after we've been abased.
Yeah.
Because he said the moot in the Mashiach is going to rise first. See that? And then we're going to be caught up. See that? Our way is going to come together.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Hello? Okay, don't worry about it. All right, come on back over to what we had. Yaramyahu 23:1. Trying to be long. Let's just look. Since I start off with talking about excuse me, talking about him writing and people's opinions and people not just being strictlers for just doing what he told us. Isn't that right? How important it is to say exactly what it is he said and to hear exactly what it is he told. Listen. 23:1, Yaramyahu, they call Jeremiah. Listen.
Woe to the Roim.
Destruction. That war ain't stopped. That was destruction to the Roim. These are the shepherds. That what happened?
Who are destroying and scattering the sheep of my pasture.
See that? Who are destroying and scattering the sheep. Go ahead.
Declares Yahuwah.
Declares Yahuwah.
Therefore, thus says Yahuwah, the all of Yasharal, concerning the Roim who are tending my own.
Yes.
You have scattered my flock and driven them away. And have not attended to them. Behold, I shall attend to you for the Rosha of your deeds, declares Yahuwah. Then I shall gather the remnant of my flock out of all the Arats, where I have driven them there, and bring them back to their pasture, and they shall be pari and multiply.
See that? He said, I'm going to bring them back. I'm going to bring them back into the fold, put them in their pastures where I'm going to keep them where they can constantly feed. Isn't that right? He said, then they can multiply. Come on.
I shall come up Roim over them, and they shall tend them.
See that? I'm gonna bring up shepherds over them that's gonna tend to them and care for them. Go ahead.
And they shall not be afraid any longer, nor be terrified, nor shall any be missing, declares Yahuwah. Behold, the Yamim are coming, declares Yahuwah, when I shall come up for Daoud a Sadiq branch, and he shall reign as Malak and act wisely and do Sadak and Sadiq in the Arat.
See that? He gonna act wisely. What word we gonna look at? Hakam. That's right. Hakam. He's gonna act wisely. See, we're gonna be able to see it. He's gonna demonstrate something. Now, amazing when we read this and we hear this. First of all, he started off to let us know it was his pattern. What was the first thing he told us? First thing. Thus said Yahuwah. What does he tell us? What statement he made to us? To them. Destruction to them. One thing our people were accustomed to, we knew he was speaking. He never sent nobody to tell us nothing to.
Yeah.
That's how we knew him as well. Even Yaramyahu stated that. Isn't that right? He said the Nabaim that been before me and before thee, they never nabba nothing to when it came to us. First thing he let us know, it's destruction in you. They had a pattern. And the fact that he told it with destruction to it, he declared the end at the beginning. Then he started telling you why. Versus we used to sit down, let me explain to you, then get to that point so I can break it. No, I'm coming out the rip letting you know, death to you. Death to you, but then I'm gonna start going through letting you know why. So we start looking at the pattern of how he does things. We talk about first, he states the verb. And then right, he wants you to know exactly the action here. I'm killing you. That gets your attention. Somebody come right about, I'm gonna kill you. You thinking, why? I went through, started explaining what can be such, and then such, and 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 see, that's why I'm gonna have to kill you. No, he come right off the rip, I'm killing you. Then now I tell you what happened. So the things he gonna look at, he gonna kill him for, they had already done them. You're in a state now how you kind of repair it. Then I let you know what my action's gonna be. I'm taking you out because of, and I'm also gonna raise up a branch from Daoud. All these things like that. So you think I'm gonna go back on my word and start what I said to Daoud? See, unlike us, now you're looking at, you might think, man, I'm gonna try to figure how I'm gonna get out of it. You can't get out of it. Because in order for you to get out of it, that means I'm gonna have to break my berith I made with Daoud. Because I told Daoud that there was never gonna fail him to have an east that was gonna reign over this place. So in order for you, if that you fix it, it's for me not to bring Daoud's branch forward, which is gonna be Yahushua. Hello? Zechariah, which Elohim marked to remember, told us that. He told us, behold the branch. That man gonna bring, he bringing forth the branch. That's why Yahushua told you about him. Every other branch that protect him, that attach to him, that don't bring forth pari is what? I gotta cut you out. And guess what he just told you right here? I'm finna cut them off. So I'm finna bring another branch up. But Yahushua told you that when he was him. He told you that he was the true vine. Yeah. Because he told you that Daoud's gonna get a branch. So you just read it because it's a romantic story. When you start to go back through the Torah, you can see why it was written. He letting you know it made sense now why he told you about he was the true branch. Because all these Roim, these pastors and shepherds thought they were the one. But he came on the scene to let you know that I am the true vine. Right. That my Abary, he is the husbandman. Right. Every branch in me that don't bring forth pari, he gonna cut it off. That's right. Right. And the one that do, he's going to prune them. That's right. That's right. He's going to trim them back so they can bring forth more. I didn't understand it before. You'll get a tree sometime, a bush, people trim them back so they can grow better. That's true. And we don't understand that because of people who do landscaping or people know, you got to, say, oh man, say you don't kill it. You said, oh, you got to prune it so it can grow better. Yes, sir. So he let you know pruning for us might be chastisement. It might be taking some away from it. That's right. Because think about it, when you prune a tree or a branch, what do? You add something to it? But you're doing it so it can grow better. That's right. So you can fix the imperfections. And those are things sometimes we don't consider. So I see you blossoming. I see you growing. But I see where you can even do even more in abundance. So in order for that to happen, I'm going to have to prune you back a little bit. So there's a difference in pruning and cutting off. Y'all got it? So you had to start to recognize. So people who understood the Torah, people that understood the berith that he made, and then he brought Daoud in for Daoud's sake. So I could keep my berith with Daoud. I got to bring forth this branch. And when he comes, he's going to deal wisely, which means we're going to look at Hakam. And when we look at Hakam, we're going to look at the word simply because it lets us understand something. This is a wisdom that comes from Elohim. There's a wisdom that's of this world, but according to the book of Corinthians, Elohim had to confound the wisdom of this world. Y'all got it? There is one. He even told us in the book of Corinthians, what north or east? The things of Elohim. That's why we start looking at Hakam. You can't get Hakam. You only get that from Elohim. So he let you know. So now we're looking at a skill set. That skill set makes a difference. We talked about it before in the book of Alah Ha Dabarym. Pick it up from me right quick. Alah Ha, see now we done move, we're going somewhere else. Alah Ha Dabarym, they call Deuteronomy. Alah Ha 4, sit at 4 and 4. So about probably between 6 and 8, 6 and 9, somewhere. But let's see 4 and 4 right quick. Alah Ha Dabarym. For those why that mean, and these are the words. Some people just use Dabarym, words. But we'll know that these are the words. So if people say, which one did he say? Well, these are the words. Y'all got it? Let's see. Listen what he told you.
But you who held fast to Yahuwah, your all are kind.
That's what I'm looking at. I want to be alive when he come back. I think in the book of Koph, they call Peter, he talked about as lively stones. Come on.
You're all, every one of you.
Come on.
See, I have one with you statutes and my spot, just as Yahuwah, my all coming to me.
So what did you just attach from that statement? Hands? Go ahead, sir. These are Abba. You all right, big man? I know you didn't try to sleep me like I raised my hand, but then I knew it. I knew that. Boy, if you don't watch these folks, they slick. So he gonna holler later on like I had my hand up. But he thinks you got you got an answer? You got 8 answers. Now what you got? Pattern. You know how I caught you? Pattern.
That's a good
What answer? What you got on? I'm inside there. I only like he got a thinking face. You thinking about an answer? What did y'all gather from the statement you just read? Tree. Who else? An attraction. Draw. Okay. What you got? Seeing is believing. Let me look at it. Anybody else? Well, I mean, we just asked. Back me down 4. 4, verse 4. Ooh. But you who held fast to Yahuwah, you all are alive today. Every one of you. This is what happened. 5. See, I have taught you statutes, mashpots, just as Yahuwah my all marred me, that you should do thus in the midst of the land where you are entering to possess it. Well, we're going to attach to it that this was your life. This was their life. Musha told you that a man that does these things, he ain't gonna believe it. He said, that's how you're gonna live. See, this is what we messed up at. The concept that they had on what you hear when Yahushua, man should not live by bread alone. I use a conversation, but by every, that does what? How did they hear? How did they hear the commandment? Who told it to them? Musha told, that makes sense to you? That Musha told it to him? When Yahushua himself say now he spoke, he said, you did hear that man that I speak with Ish, and you lived. They heard him speak to them themselves in the 20th chapter book of Alah Ha Dabarym. Musha sat down and he taught them to us, but we heard him from Elohim. He said, you heard him from me and you lived. They understood that you lived by what came out of his mouth. So in order for them to really understand and grasp that concept better, he attached it to them. If I tell you, this all hypothetical, I'm just using an example. Don't get up. He didn't. You dead. Don't move. Just move. He dead. So you know they understand. Folks start associating. When you don't do what he say, you die. When you don't do or you go against what he say, you die. That's the only way they understood the concept of man live. You don't even understand that. That you live by every word proceed out of his mouth. So, because you just doing stuff, you saying you don't see him actually talking because they lived to what he gave them. It makes sense of his anger being against them so quickly. So they would associate that what came out of his mouth, if you didn't do it, you were going to die. That's what Musha told him. Everybody who wasn't there, that because somebody felt like it's Shabbat. Now I got to pick up Shabbat, what y'all call it? Shabbat, Sabbath day. I got to get to work. I ain't got time for this stuff. Boom, I fell out dead. You know what I'm saying? Yep, I ain't gonna be doing that. So get what they just associated by. You living by what come out of your mouth. It makes sense. See, that's what I'm saying. You just can't read this stuff. See, I taught you statutes and mashpots. Just as Yahuwah Elohim did what? That's going to be tight. He told you I taught you commandment because Yahuwah he told you, he the one that you first heard him from his mouth. That you should do thus in the midst of the, what you use, a rights, where you are entering to possess it there. So a right, because you're just going to be in the land, you ain't possessing the whole planet. So you see the association? They understood the statement that man lived by every word that proceeded from the mouth of Elohim. So they looked at the Turah as Kaim. Because I'm using it to keep you alive. Listen, it kept them alive till they could do what?
Get in the rods.
Get into the what?
Rods.
Get into the right. So they could possess. Possess. Y'all got that? So they could possess. Let me see what the word possess means. Let me get y'all, let me see if we can help. What is that thing? This is the definition?
No.
None. It's right here. You click right here.
No.
Okay. That little thing. It's supposed to be like a black Jesus or something. What is that? A Sadiq.
That's gay.
Oh, something got an atheist? Oh, that's gay pride on Google. That's sick. Have as belonging to one own. Y'all got it? Have as belonging to one, and the other put to own. Y'all got that? So guess what? This is how they understood the concept. Okay, my life, having it, is based upon me obeying Shama, hearing with the intent to do. This is my life. Y'all got it? Hearing what he says to do, okay? Is my life. This keeps me alive, okay? So now they're going to come into possession of. Y'all understand that? The possession they understood was the land. No people don't understand no possession, no Ruach HaKodesh. What you do with it? What you grow in it? They understood the physical, tangible of taking a land, and it was all consistent based upon the fact I obeyed something, and those that didn't die. The people he was casting out were people that didn't comply. So I understood the ability of what he gave me of being able to possess came in through me obeying what he told me. So now you ain't gonna believe it. Acts 5:31. Make it 5 and 30. Acts, this is of the Acts of the Shalakim, which are the sent ones. All right, 5 and 30. Listen.
All of our abode, whom up Yahushua, whom you laid hands on him.
Now hear what he said? The all of our Elohim, he coomed up Yahushua, whom you did what?
Laid hands on him and hang on a ark.
Y'all see what happened? He was up and he had to go down. Same thing with you. Same thing with Yasharal and Yehuda. They were up and they had to go down. And then he did what? He coomed them up. These are patterns he sent for you. Listen.
The one had the Elohim exalted to his right hand.
Y'all see that? It made him his arm, made him his strength. To be a what?
Sar and a Pusha.
To make him a ruler and a savior. And to do what?
To give repentance to Yasharal and forgiveness of Katain.
Yes.
And we are his witnesses of these matters.
Wow. We are his witnesses of these matters. Who else, Lee?
And so also is the Ruach HaKodesh.
Whom? The
Elohim has given to those who shama him in his core.
So how do those people possess the land exactly? Because they what? How you gonna get the Ruach HaKodesh? So what you gonna do in order for you to do it? So you gotta attach yourself to it. See, Musha set up the premise for it. That a man that does these things, he'll live by it. And they understood it because people died that didn't comply. So he let them know the only reason you're alive this day is because all of you, I'm using example, please don't think all of y'all are actually literally doing it. It's because all of you obeyed it. That's how they understood how they were going to be, how they were recipients of it. Because we're the people that comply. When other people fall, when other people fail, when other people detour, when other people doubted and other people disbelieved, we held to it. He said he let them realize that all of you that are alive, this you, are those that complied, who stayed, those that held to, those who didn't serve, those that didn't become unsturdy. He said, that's why and now you're finna come into possession of. So this were people that walked straight out of Mizraim. And as soon as they came out, they got the land. So how you get saved the day you came? How you got the Ruach HaKodesh the day you came? These were people that had gone through. See, these folks mess people up. As soon as you hear, you get the Ruach HaKodesh like this. Y'all ain't saved yet. But see, because he had to try some. He had to test some. And get them to a point to where they become possessors and inheritors of. But you saw what they did after they inherited, didn't they? They fell away. And you know what he tell you? Take heed, lest you fall. Isn't that right? That's why we had these people, for example, to consider. So they had to understand the premise. So what do we know? Now, us obtaining the Malkut didn't come because of the law Turah, but because of, just like he told, it because of conceived. So why was the Turah there? It was until the promise should come. It was only there to keep it till the promise could come. The people who didn't comply with it, how could they possess it if it was not for the Turah? There was no way to possess it. The Turah gave them the direction how to get to where I'm gonna give you the gift. Okay, Chris, let me something. Would you like $10 million? Okay, I want you to go to my house and get it. Why you can't do it? You can go to I'm just in my house to get it. You know where I stay at? So I promise to give it to you. $10 million. You go to my house. And the problem he got is what? He don't know how to get there. Roy said, well, $10 million. He started saying, this is all hypothetical now. But you see, so now this is a promise I'm giving him. I'm gonna give him $10 million to get to my house. The problem you have is what now? Direction. So now I'm gonna give him some direction. These directions I give him, now and he don't follow them, and he be out for, can he get to my house to possess the $10 million? If he get the direction, say, you know what? I'm feeling something. The spirit moved me go a different way. Can he get there? So rather, can he become a possessor? So now, is he going to receive it because of the direction, or is the promise? It's the promise I gave him that he'll possess it, but he needed the law and the direction in order to get to be a recipient of the promise. That's how you got to look at the Turah. The Turah, he said, well, you know what? It promised. I don't need no direction. I don't need no law. How are you going to possess it? He can't get to the possession without the direction. The promise has already been given to him of the 10 million, but how can he get it without the law, which is direction, without instruction? He can't become a possessor of it. The same way used for these idiots who keep having this belief, this ideology that you don't need the law. That's not going to work. You showing you clearly, you do need instruction in order for you to get to the possession. That's been not really, because it was already given you by promise. I told you I was going to give you $10 million before I told you about the law. You needed the law in order for you to get that direction. But you had done nothing to obtain $10 million. So now we're looking at obtaining the promise. We hadn't done nothing to attain it, but you need the law in order for you to get to your possession. Y'all understand that? That's why we're him. That's why it's already a promise. I'm gonna give it to you. You just need to know how to get to it. Y'all see that? So people are trying to out the Turah, and you don't realize you don't know what you're doing. See, Shaul tried to tell us in the book of Barnabas, they call Timothy, book of Timothy. These people desire to be teachers of the Turah. They don't know what they're teaching, what they're confirming.
That's right.
They don't know what they're doing. All they're doing is got a lot of people in error. Y'all got it. So the law is not a promise. It's just the direction. It's only there until the promise should come. That's the only reason you got it. It's going to help you to get to where your possession is. Okay? All right. So that's what I want to say. Well, they'll jump down to another verse. These are the things that we want to set down and consider. Let's go back right quick and look at that 4th chapter of the book of Alah Ha Dabarym again. Alah Ha Dabarym, Deuteronomy chapter 4. What verse we left off at? Verse 5, 6?
5, well, we finished 5.
5, verse 6. All right, listen.
So keep and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding. Da'ah in the of the arm.
Well, that wouldn't be da'ah in understanding. We're going to look at the benin. They're going to look at bean. It's going to be the bean.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's going to be ways of understanding. Well, we'll be binah. We'll look at that understanding. But we're going to look at the bean, the B-I-N. They kind of put an E at the end of it. The bean, you're going to look at this. It's going to be the understand. It's going to show their understanding will be on the binah, but we're going to look at the bean because we're going to look at this. Going to be your skill. It's going to show your skill. This is your skill level. See, let me tell you how that works. When you take kids or you send kids to school and they have an educator, an instructor that educate, teach them, instruct them. You know what they typically do in the middle of a semester at the end of it? That's going to show their skill level. That's why you give them tests. So I need to see where your skill level at. So when people watch you and see you, see that you are a follower and you're a complier and that you can actually operate in, I know your skill level at. Listen to what they said.
In the of the arm, who shall shama all these statutes and say.
So in their eyes, so they're gonna be watching you. They're gonna be watching you, and listen to what they're gonna say.
Surely this great Gui is a wise and wow.
See that? They're looking at that. They look at your understanding, look at your skill level. All this stuff, when you start dealing with the wise, well, we're gonna deal with the wise, well, I'm sorry, understanding, then we're dealing with the wise, so we're gonna deal with the hakam and versus the kakama. The kakma, that's gonna show your skill level. So that's when you're gonna start looking at your wisdom and start showing your skill level. That's how they was able to discern with Yahushua. See, when they watch them doing certain things and they can listen to his speech, they can pick up on his skill level. That's how they were picking up on his skill level, the stuff he was doing. He knew when the nation, see, what he's telling you is what Yahushua was told. See, when all these Guis start to watch you and they see you start doing things, healing and feeding, they see all the other things you're doing and opening blind eyes and see the off you have when it comes down to question you about things, they're going to pick up your skill level. You know what they're going to say? Surely this is a wise man. Surely this man is wise. Listen what does happen.
Or what great Gui is there that has Elohim so near to it?
And you know what the man told him? He said, the Abary had never left me alone. But I do always the thing that please. See, you'll never caught it because you don't know Turah. What was the purpose of telling you that? He just told you. They're going to say, sure, there was a great Gui that does what?
That has Elohim so near to it.
This man said Elohim had never left him. He said, because I do always the thing that please. So we understood his skill level. Okay, listen.
As is Yahuwah, our all, whenever we call on him.
See that? And that man called on Yahuwah, and guess what? He got results. So you're trying to look at why you don't have results when you calling on him or when you call on him. Well, you got to start looking at your skill level. How well do you operate with it? How well how well do you operate when you give him directions? When you give him instructions, how well do you operate? See, we were looking at that. These are the things that let us know where he was with him. Okay? So these are the things you set back and you try to look at, you try to consider. Let's look at see that the 28th chapter of the book of Alah Shamuth. Alah Shamuth. They call it Exodus. Alah Shamuth. That's all right. This is Alah Shamuth, they call Exodus 28:1. Listen.
And you
Hold on,
bring
they ain't
near-
got that yet. They ain't got that. All right. Listen.
And you bring near to yourself Aharon your Ak, and his Beni with him.
Y'all hear what I want you to do? I want you to bring them close. Then Aharon and his Benim and his son, bring them close. Tell them why.
From among the Beni of Yasharal,
See that? So I mean, at that point you separate them. They're coming closer, while everybody else sit more at a distance. Tell them what happened.
to Shara as a Kohan to me,
Mm-hmm.
Aharon, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Itmar, Aharon Beni.
Mm-hmm.
You shall make Kadash garments for Aharon your Ak, for kabod and for beauty.
Mm-hmm.
You shall speak to all the wise in the law,
Oh, who now?
the wise in the law,
For what?
whom I have endowed with the ruach of wisdom, that they make Aharon garments to Kadash him, that he may Sharat as a Kohan to me.
Now, guess what you just paid attention to? You should be paying attention to. He's talking about everyone that was wise. Yes, he did. He said everybody that was wise.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want you to call now. When you bring Aharon and you bring his Benin, his sons closer, I want you to pick some people among you. I want you to pick every one of them that's wise in the law. That's going to be in their thinking, how they operate. And that's why I want to make the clothes. You said, well, I don't really know. Well, I wasn't going to use you anyway, because you lack a skill set. See, how we look at wisdom is different than how they looked at it. See, they understood wisdom by a person's skill level. See, a lot of times you look at English words or stuff, you don't see it. It's just, why did he just listen to him again? Say it again to him. What verse that was? Verse 2, verse 3?
Verse 3.
Listen.
You shall speak to all the wise in the law.
Well, I mean, I don't really know a whole lot. Let me hear it.
You shall speak to all the wise in the law.
In the minds. Tell them why.
Whom I have endowed with the ruach of wisdom.
How come I gave it to them? Tell them why.
That they make Aharon garments to Kadash him.
So guess what? Now, so let me answer this. So just say I just said that. I don't know who is who. I don't know who is who. I want y'all to make Aharon. I want y'all to make Aharon and his sons the outfits that they're gonna wear. You know how I'm gonna tell who's the wise one? By their skill level. Because he's already given them the intelligence on how to do it. So based upon that, I'm going to watch what you do. So I'm going to be watching your skill level. Is going to show me where you at with Yahuwah. See, the way you view wisdom, the way these people get it was totally different. It's a skill set. See that the 31st chapter of the same book. People see, they don't teach us enough. They teach you enough to make you think, you know, something. They give you surface teaching. Yep. When you look at these words, all these things are totally different on how they view things than what they told us. These people don't know Elohim. Same book, Alah Shamuth. I said 31. 31, say that 31 and 1, I think it's. Listen.
Now, Yahuwah spoke.
Might be something. What?
See, I have hearted by Shem that saw all the beginning of Yaram, the beginning of Kor, for the Matthatyahu of Yehuda. I have filled him with the Ruach of Elohim in Hakam.
For what reason? So he just sit there and look stupid? Or just look intelligent? Because you can tell people wisdom when they sit there how intelligent they look. What do you want them to do?
In Binah, in Da'ah, and in all kinds of craftsmanship.
See, so now he done told you, done called him, man. He said, I don't fill him with all type of wisdom. Now he's trying to tell you how you're going to be able to tell it. Let's see how he builds. Let's see how he constructs. See, it's a skill level. This is what people don't realize. How you see wisdom and how you view wisdom is totally different than how they saw it. They were able to tell by your ability how you operate. This showed your wisdom and your understanding. So the sight of the people in the people in the Goyim, in these nations, were going to know us by our skill level. By the way we operate and the way we do things. They're going to say, this is skilled people right here.
Right.
Elohim have filled these people with. How you think these people able to do? See, when we read in what they call, I call the second Barim, they call the New Testament, and because you got a second, because you had a first one, and people don't want to acknowledge the first one. They holler new, like though this is the first time when they've been given. But you start watching, those people able to see what these people done by their obedience. All these compliances showed whether or not they had the hakam, had they received the wisdom that came from Elohim, were they a wise nation by their skill level. See, all these different things we're looking at, because this is how they typically looked at things. When you look at I think it's being, the being. When you look at being, which is understand, which we got to get understand, how to understand things. How they did it was based off of this. They look at things different. They look at primitive roots of how things are stemmed from. They look at how you discern things. That show understanding. Sometimes you might do something stupid. It's a boy, you just stupid. It's based upon how you do things. You don't discern things. Like Solomon, who they call Solomon. They were able to look at the first time he got renowned before people is when he sat down, he had a court case. His court case, his first case he heard was when he sat down and two women both had sons, one being a prostitute. Well, both were prostitutes, and one had rolled over her son and he had died. The second one's son, the other one, her son was yet alive, but the other woman took her son and hid it under her. And when they woke up that morning, she said, I had the dead baby, and she had the living one. She said, so they brought it before Solomon, and he had to decide whose baby was it. Well, he had to sit down, and what they realized with him, that he was not only a bin, which was the son of Daud, he also showed that he had bin, which was he understood. He could discern a matter. See, you see it different. I'm saying he was able to sit down and look and say, take the baby and cut the baby in half and give both of them apart. And when the other woman said, oh, stop. No, don't do that. I'd rather she have it than to kill it. He said, get a woman her baby. And everybody marveled because they understood he was a bin, which was a son. They understood he that bin, which that he had understood. These are the things we have to look at. See, they teach you things in a way that you only see things the way they give it to you versus the way he actually designated. How did people understand wisdom? It was all skill set. When they understood a person having understanding, it was the way they discerned. Even with Yahushua, they brought him the woman and told him, so, well, here a woman we caught in the very act of adultery. He said, well, let he that without kata, let them cast the first stone. He was able to discern it because, listen, this Turah, I'm not going to break the Turah. If she was caught in it, then the hands of the witness are supposed to be first among them. But the only thing I ask is let somebody do it that hadn't committed none. And he just turned around, he kept doing what he was doing. And he looked around and he asked the woman, he said, nobody condemns you? No, he said, neither do I. See, we all understood where he stood. He was the bin of Elohim and the bin of Daud, but he also had being that he showed that he understood. All right?
Yes, sir.
But not that he had understanding about things. And that's what we're trying to comprehend now. But a lot of time, the way we do things, we don't set back. That's why I say it's so important to look at things the way they saw it. So you can look at it from an English vernacular and how they define things, but that's not the way they did it. Because you just clearly read on 2 occasions that when he told them to bring forth, speak to those that had this wisdom that I gave and let them make the clock because they knew how to do it. And you were going to watch their skill level set that I've given them, and you were going to acknowledge that it came from me, that people acknowledge that Yahushua came from Yahuwah, that he came from Yahuwah. It was because of his skill set. It was because of his understanding. It was because of the wisdom.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
See, and that's what we lack. That's what we miss. So let's look at something and talk about the Turah, and we'll look at it at 7th chapter book of Romans. Romans the 7th chapter. That air feel good. I seem like they freeze and give them a little break. They ain't getting long though. Y'all need to bring y'all a bear coat or something. Y'all can't be freezing me out. I mean, y'all can't be burning me up in that place.
Right.
All right. Listen.
Or do you not, Yada, our king, why speak to those knowing the Turah,
There's no instruction, direction. That what?
that the Turah shar over a ish all the yamim of his kaid,
They rule over him as long as he lives. But tell them what happened.
for the married Asha has bound by the Turah to her husband while he is kaid.
While he living.
But if her husband move, she is released from the Turah of her husband.
So then,
Therefore, while her husband kaid,
what happened?
if she becomes to another ish, she shall be kara and adulteress.
What?
If her husband move,
Then.
she is free from the Turah, so that she is not an adulteress because she becomes to another ish.
So we understand that premise, and that's what they had to understand. I don't know how today folks can go out and they get these husband and wives and have one living when they're clearly talking to people that know the Torah. Basically, how they understood it with that while a man lived, his wife was still his while he yet lived. Mushak came up, he told you, he gave you that concept because of the hardness of your law. Only way to get out of it, what you had to do. He just told you what happened. Only way you get out of it, they got to be dead. This ain't hard to put together. If I don't want my wife no more, she don't want a husband no more, all you got to do is kill him.
Right.
So when Mushak came along, he gave you a precept. He gave you a writing that you can give to him that you could separate without killing him. That was the only way you can get him there. You had to give him that divorce paper and they can go. And it was because he found something wrong with him. And he could send her away. One of the stipulations you'll find that he could find with the woman is that he found that he married her under deception. He married her soon as she was a Beth Ula, which means that she was ripe for sex, not that she already committed the act. So by that direction, he could put her away. When they asked in the 19th chapter, you look in the book of Matthatyahu, they asked, is it lawful for a man to put away his Ashah for any cause? They ain't say at all. That's why he asked him, what did Mushaka? He said, well, Moses, Mushak, he a martyr that we can get her a bill of divorcement put in her hand. He said that was because of the hardness of your law, he wrote you the precept. He said, but from Barashit, it was not so. Because Adam didn't put away his.
Right.
You didn't find nobody putting away theirs until later on. People held and they kept to him. So we understood the Torah. That once you had committed to it and you had engaged to it, that you were locked into it. Why y'all think Yahuwah can't get rid of us?
Locked into it.
Wow. All the concepts of marriage we got paperwork.
Yeah.
We got consummation because that was dam being spread. He took the dam and he sprinkled the people and everything with you because it signified we were under Abary, that we was under law, we was under structure. And although we had gone and we went away, that's why he put us away. And he came right back to get us. You're right. You can't put them away. You got to get them.
Got to get them.
You got to keep them.
That's right.
We had strayed, we had gone off, but he still held and he still brought us back.
That's right.
So I don't know how people getting away with it in their mind, but it seemed good to them that they'll do it. And people go join all these different groups because they look for a reason to get out of something versus trying to stay in something.
Yes, sir.
So all I want to do is just tell me what the other wife he got. We following the pattern. Where's this other wife he got?
Don't have one.
Everybody he got is on the same beret.
That's right.
So all these things we start looking at because we're trying to consider our salvation. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Which is our Yeshua. So now we're using, what is this right here? Nakar, what was that for? To scrutinize. Look intently at. That's what we do. Acknowledge, be acquainted with, care for, respect, or revere. So we look at, this is what we start looking at. We try to look at being able to discern. Y'all got it? A lot of these come in from being a being. This is what he started looking at. If you go back to start looking at the primitive or what they looked at, being able to discern. They always talking about everyone that uses milk is unskillful. You know, he said, because he is a what? And they're right. So he's not able to discern. It's just like when you eat fish. When I was growing, we live in the country. You don't get no baby, no fish. No. In the country, all fish got bone in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you get a fish that ain't got no bone in it, you ain't eating fish.
That's right.
They don't play that stuff in the country. Man, you better miss one, don't take one bone out of him. I had an uncle, he could start at the head and eat all the way to the tail. I'm trying to make a cat cuss. Listen, he started the head. Don't leave the head on now. If a fish that big right there, he said, don't gut that fish, you'll lose some meat. He fried. How many y'all know about in the country? He fried hard. I'm telling you, that's all you do. He just fried hard. The gut said, man, you cut that fish. He said, man, ain't gonna be nothing. Clean that little bit of that, get them little scrapers out there and fried hard. He started at the head and eat all the way to the tail. But that's what they know. But see, but you know what? You couldn't do that with a baby.
No, you can't.
Right.
And the proper way, but I don't want to use him for that. But you look at typically what you do, you eat fish, you gotta know how to put away from the bone and how much you get, not a certain you catch it.
That's
a
right.
baby won't find it till it went down that throat and choke.
Right. That's right.
So guess what? You start looking at their skill. That's why you give it to them, because you know what their skill level is.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you start looking at when you're trying to obtain the Ruach HaKodesh, the spirit of separation. Why would I give it to you when your skill level? You lack some of your skill level. You're not able to discern. He told them in the Turah that you should put a different. I ain't get one of these little kids, they gonna be able to do that.
No, sir.
Skill level ain't down. They knew because he's already given a declaration of what he declared to be clean from the dietary law. You know what I'm saying? Different behaviors. So they already knew where to put people at. So your discerning level allowed you to be able to see that. Y'all got it? Just like when Yehuda came out after his wife had moved, he came out and he saw Tamar, and what he perceived her to be? She was a harlot. She had on the clothes of a harlot. She was sitting in the way, just like a harlot typically would do. So I already discern what type of woman you are. So they start looking at that wisdom has a skill set or a discernment to it. These are things we're trying to obtain and trying to make sure we apprehend that we lack a lot of times. A lot of times we're just hearing words and like letting words come in, but we're not really sitting down looking at it. It all comes down to a skill level. How to deal with people, how to deal with situations, how to separate from different things, detach from things, or how to hold a thing. That's why we start looking at how the Dabar teacher, we start off our basis, our foundation on how patience, going through without quitting, and understanding the coon. So you got to understand when situation you go in and you let them go, and you know what situation you got to hold to. But that comes with a discernment. Y'all got it? That's going to come with a maturing. A lot of times we don't get mature. We just hear what we like, lock in. When there's something we don't like, we don't pay attention to it. But you got to do like he told your call, eat the whole roll. That's why he wanted him to eat the whole roll. Then
To the best of y'all.
Then you go speak to him. You're going to mess up. You don't know enough. He had to eat the whole roll, then go speak. He said, when in my mouth, it was sweet, but in my belly, bitter. It was bitter because the appetite. That's not what I really want. So you start to look at what it's easy for the mouth to put something out when you start to demonstrate it in behavior. So he used the tummy. When the tummy got something to disagree with, what it gonna do?
Throw it up.
That's right. It's gonna be irritable. You have an appetite for something. You say you hungry, you real hungry. You say, I got to take for something. People can offer you something. You say, I don't want that. It'll mess up what I got a desire for. You ever had that sometimes? You say, I've done that, wanted something and ate something, second it, and you didn't eat it. It's something that could be good, but my stomach didn't want that.
Right.
And then you hate you done it because you had an appetite for something.
Right.
That's the same way the flesh should do when you get to the bar. Alahim. So now we got to learn how to curb our appetite. We got to learn how to put a discipline on what it is we like and what it is we dislike. If not, you'll constantly be in battle, or you'll constantly be in battlement with the debar. Because your appetite's still there to say, I want this, regardless of what the word told.
Right.
Y'all got me. We've done it. And so all these things we do naturally have to happen so you have an idea of the concept of what you're dealing with in the basar or in the ruach, how you in an embattlement with the debar. You got it? Because even the spiritual mind, that spiritual mindset of itself, it won't desire to do. It'll have a will.
Right.
It'll have a different desire. So we're trying to learn how to put things in their proper perspective. Y'all got it? Okay, let's see. Let's finish up 73. We'll keep reading. Let's see what it's going. Come on.
Therefore, while her husband Cain, if she becomes another East, she shall be called an adulteress.
See that? And that's where Yasharal live, an adulterer. Yehuda. Because we got another one. We went and grabbed Jesus. We went and grabbed everyone these gods, all these Elohims of the word. We find ourselves an adulterer. Listen.
But if her husband moved, she is free from the Turah, so that she is not an adulteress, because she becomes another Ish. Therefore, my Akim, you also were to move to the Turah through the Basar of the Mashiach to become another one to him who has kum from the move, so that we should bear Abary to Elohim.
So now you come back and start telling us that what position and how position change, that you become dead to the law. Now, this is very easy to take and assume to ourselves that we have no more law. Y'all got it? We got to start looking at the behavior. We found that the Turah was not wrong. The only reason we saw the Turah as being wrong is because we found we couldn't keep it.
That's right.
If you did that, you try to play something, you know, you throw that, it's dumb anyway.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It ain't stupid. You just don't know what you're doing. I used to have a slinky. I couldn't make that thing walk. It was dumb. I just getting just stretch it. I said, this thing's just stupid. I don't know what they made it for because I didn't know how to use it. So it's gonna be dumb and stupid, dog. So the law was seen in a way that is useless and it's not really beneficial to us. But like I explained to you before, this is how you got to the reward. This is how you got to the promise. You needed direction. You needed instruction to get you to the promise. He's promised this stuff. Nobody earned it. Nobody has done any work to obtain it. This is all a promise.
Right.
So we need the law, the Turah, which they're going to call the law, so we'll know how to get to, become the recipients of the promise. You got it? So we can't take, so what people thought, and it wasn't, the law could never be against the promise. Because I'm only here to help you get to what he's promised to give you. You got it. So how could the law, man, get rid of that stupid junk. I just need the promise. Well, try to go obtain it without the law.
Right.
You can't.
Can't do it.
You can't do it. You need the Turah to get you there. The Turah teaches presentation.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that right? The Turah teaches everything we need to know in order for us to get. Y'all got it. And it insists, or it helping us to keep Kai so you can get to the promise where you can become the possessors of it. Y'all got it. So this is how he needs us to see it. Because a lot of people get the two and they just get a man. People, I'm under grace. So if that's what your sister name is, you shouldn't do it. It's gonna be incest. Get out from under grace, okay? Stop it. Folks use stuff as an excuse or a cloak to get away from something. Okay? The promise was never for you to get away from nothing. Neither was the Turah. The Turah just showed a man how to get there. But we start finding all the embattlements that we deal with on the way along the way. Yeah, the hangups we get. Y'all got what I'm saying? So it's all these different things. It started to reveal things about us, and it started to allow us to get rid of some things. And he told us, therefore, seeing we also compassed about with so great a cloud of, let us lay aside every way and so along the way, we start realizing some things are holding us up. Some people hold you up. People feel like I need somebody. I need it. A lot of stuff you think you need, you don't. You're just looking for a cloak or a covering or a weight or something to hold you up. And he told us to lay aside every weight and the Matthatyahu, sin that so easily beset us. So you can run with patience the race that's set before you. So this is what you got to look at. You done embarked on a journey here, a mahalak, a journey. And along this journey, you got to look at what's conducive to allow me to be able to make it so I can be a recipient of the promise. And a lot of things you'll get. People, you heard people say, folks be heavy on your heart. Yeah, you got to get rid of that because I'm in a race. What you need heavy when you're in a race? You used to race. You remember that jacket you used to wear when you used to run? Why you wear a jacket? That's right. All right. And sometimes it could be a windbreaker. It ain't heavy, but it restricts you. Because you got it with your movement, you know what I'm saying? It's so much things you need that can restrict you. And some things it won't be away, but in a sense it do because it restricts you. Sometimes relationships, sometimes people, sometimes commitment, they'll restrict you and you'll lose. You'll be surprised at how many things you have to consider. And a lot of times people don't. People just think they go out. There's a lot of things you have to do. There's a lot of practice before you even get in the race. You'll practice sometimes harder. You'll practice more and harder than you will the race. So you know what? It seemed easier. Then you have to put your mind in where you got to be. Your training has to be more intense than your actual doing. Yeah. Isn't that right? So you can get yourself and you can set yourself to a level where winning is very much obtainable. The reason why it's not obtainable, what kind of regiment you've been doing? What's your belief system? Winners believe they winners. That's just been a winner belief. It's a mentality to go with it. It ain't no just jump out and just no. It's a belief go with it. And that because it helps formulate a drive. Right. Hello? Right. Okay. I'm just telling you why a lot of people loses. I know why a lot of y'all don't go as far as you do, because you don't believe it. Whatever I say I do, I believe I can do that. Oh yeah, 100%. I believe I can do it. All day when I go do something, I ain't got no other reach. That's what I believe I do. They say that if I say I'm gonna do it, I believe I can do it, and I'm gonna do it. He told me, whatever you find your hand to do, he said, do it with all your might. He said, "Cause you ain't gonna believe it. There's no hakam wisdom nor strength." He said, not in the kabah, in the grave. He said, not where you going. He said, so whatever you gonna put your all in it. That's just being honest. So we start to consider that. This journey we embarked on for, how much you willing to commit to this? So let's look at this law. Let's look at this thing that everybody think you ain't got to have no more. Come on, he done read verse 4. Come on.
Or at the time when we were in the Bazaar, the passions of Matthatyahu, which were working through the Turah, were working in our members to bear Pari to move.
So this is why he told you about breaking from the Turah. Because and to get you an understanding, it was because of the Turah. That's how Matthatyahu entered into the alarm. See, it needed a gateway. Saw Paul tell you about, the portal opened and the demons come in. So this is how it became a portal. The Turah became a portal in order for Matthatyahu sin to enter into the alarm. Y'all understand it? It needed a passageway. It couldn't come in by itself. There's no way for sin to be accounted if there's no Turah. Y'all got it? Okay. Paper sin. It's a sin. What's wrong with that? See that? Wow. Trying to find a sin. Envelope. You going to hell, you got an envelope. See, there's no way for it to come in. Now, how many of y'all felt condemned? How many of y'all got envelopes at home? Maybe in your car, anyway. So you finna go to hell. Impossible. There's no way for you to go or be condemned to Sheol because it's not a Turah. No way to condemn you with it's not a way. So once Yahuwah established the Turah and gave us instruction, then it also gave a room for Qatar to come in. It became a gateway passage. So now he just told you became dead to the law, that it made sense that you were dead to the law, you were dead to the workings of the idea or the ideology of committing, going against it. The reason why he told you in the flesh, because a lot of times this is our embattlement. We deal with a lot of struggles in our flesh. Isn't that right? A lot of wants, desire, sexual, hates, other hang-up, mental hang-up, health. All these things will get you to commit qatar. It don't have to be no another woman be adultery to get y'all. When we look in the second chapter, Beth Malakim, they call it Second Kings. You look at the first chapter, when was it Ahaz, he fell down through a lattice? And was that a sin that he fell down through a ladder?
No, sir.
Was it a sin, a qatar, that he was laid up on his bed?
No, sir.
The sin came in because he went to choir Beelzebub.
That's right.
Yahuwah want to know, is it because there's no Elohim in Yasharah that you inquire Beelzebub?
That's right.
He said, behold, he said, that bed you lay upon your couch, he said, you're not getting up from it. See that? That's the only thing. He ain't commit adultery. He ain't get another woman lay in the bed with it. He wasn't smoking a cigarette. He wasn't drinking beer. He wasn't lusting. He hadn't stolen nothing. He wasn't covering none of his coveted, none of his neighbor. He just went there and inquired. If you sick, who don't want to know they're going to get better? What's wrong with want to know if I want to get better? He said, if you go ask somebody, and I told you not to inquire after no other Elohim. I told you not to see how it coming. So what was the reason he was doing it? Because it was spiritual? No, why was he seeking another Elohim?
He wanted to get up.
He was concerned about his flesh. He wasn't concerned about it. So guess where he was at? He was under the law of sin and death. Because you've broken a commandment. You've broken instruction that I gave you to get you to obtain the promise. So along the way of him obtaining the promise, which is not by works, it's not by the keeping of the law is only to get you to be a recipient of it. Along the way, I got sick. Yep. I'm a man. I got sick. And the people I got among it ain't working. So I want to look outside and just want to know. I ain't trying to, listen, I'm just asking a question. Am I going to get better? And Yahuwah looked at, this is a direct violation. That's right. Because I told you, every time I told you, I am Yahuwah, the existing one. I am your Elohim. If you want to know you're going to get better, you don't inquire after no other Elohim. You come to me. Right. So you just made a direct violation. And anybody make a foul at Bob, that's a foul at me. Isn't that right? That's he looked at. He said, that's a foul. That you didn't go and inquire from the Isha Elohim. You inquired of Beelzebub. You want to go and seek Beelzebub. So you can see how these things can put you in direct conflict with Elohim. A lot of times people don't think things, well, ain't like I'm smoking, ain't like I'm drinking, ain't like I'm fornicating, committing adultery, and like I'm just asking some questions. But you went and seek after something I told you not. All these things, they knew this. He couldn't condemn him or convict him if there was not a Turah against it. So people look at the law in the wrong concept. So this is things you have to consider. All these things are how most of us get off. It's because the lust of the eye, the pride of life, and the lust of the flesh. All this stuff he told you get, he said, not of the apple, it's of the law. These are the things he told that for a reason. This is what get us off. Nobody commit none of the sin that what we look at, it translates over to ruachni, spiritual, but like what you commit actually come from your flesh. It's desires of your flesh that put you in a ruachni conflict with him. So all these things he tried to let you know because they all translate over into something bigger that we think is a small thing. These are direct violations. So now the dead that he's telling we became, that you dead to the Turah, I'm dead to the operating Turah that I go against it. So if you took the Turah away, the Turah dead, how do I know how to receive the promise? How do I know how to get to the promise? I don't know. So there's no way to take away the Turah. Y'all got it? Because we're still in operation to obtain the promise. Okay. I guess it's where you're at though. Let's see. Come on, wasn't it? So they talked about Abary and Abary. Let's come on back down again. I'm saying. But at the time, we were in the bazaar. So now you're not in the flesh no more. Everyone, y'all, these spirits sitting on these seats, you better not for it. Because the Ruach ain't got no business past no gas. So you are in the flesh. You're not in the operations where the flesh rule over when you've been given instruction. Okay? The passions, these are the desires, the love of kata'im or sin, which we're working through. This is how it works. Through the Torah. Sin uses this. This is what sin used. Sin used the law. We're working in our members to bear fruit to what? That's what we like. So we understand that because we look at Ka'ur, Adam in the garden. He showed them all of the pari. He said, all this you can eat. But the yum that you eat of this ox, this tree, what were they going to do? Moot. So once they ate that fruit, what were they bearing? That was the pari. When they ate that pari, it ended up the moot. Because he said the day you eat it, that's going to be your death. That's going to be your death. Because it worked in their body to take away life. It wasn't their body to separate. Look, these are common things that you look at, you consider. Why they lived in the garden, okay? They had Kai. All based upon instructions that he gave them to do. All these things he gave them were instructions to do to keep them living. The same way when he gave Yasharal the Torah. They were alive that day. Every one of them that did what? That stayed with him. That stayed with what he told them. He told them the day when you eat of this pari, you're going to moot. The only reason this would make sense to us is because we understood what happened in Bar Rashid. For at the time, we were in the flesh. What were Adam and Ka'ur? What were they in the spirit? They were in the basar. The passions of sin, because when she saw the ox, that he had clearly told her, and the Nakash, the serpent, clearly asked her, has Elohim said? She said, no, he said we're going to die. He said, and we ain't even supposed to touch it. Which means she knew instructions. She knew direction. He said, you won't surely die. Not surely move. And she took it and she ate. And he told you why. The eye, it'll make you smarter because you're going to be like Elohim. And that right? And I want it. All the operation of Kata'im, she demonstrated. And when she got it, and the first thing she did, what did she do? After she eating it, she do just like people do when they get off. They're going to get you off too. She gave it to him, so he ate it. So guess what happened? At that point, the only thing they could retrieve from that was moot because it went contrary to the instructions. They were going to have to die. That's why we're children of moot now, because of the behavior. He had to set up the way so we could look at the detriment when you go against the Torah. So when you look at being dead to the Torah is not gone. We're dead to the operation. He told her, if Kata'im and Tajdi, you wasting time talking about doing no stupid stuff like that. I already know where it's going. I already know what's going to be. See, when you eat, all right, this is what you look at. In first, I know how to get it. Aleph, Barnabas, they call it 1 Timothy, Barnabas, born of the Nabiim, born of the Nabah. Timothy, they call it 1 Timothy, the 6th chapter. He talk about any consent not to promoting something essential. That's what your food supposed to do. This is what y'all do. As soon as you eat, you go to sleep. You eat nigga food.
That's right.
Food is not designed to eat and put you to sleep. That's why you fat. Okay. I'm gonna tell you what happened. You had to start learning the process how stuff actually work, okay? We do it because through slavery, we're the only people we had never been taught on nutrition. We were never taught on nutrition. They gave us our school lunch and we got these people gave us food. And we eat. As soon as you eat, pop your pan over and go to sleep.
That's right.
And the reason why it is, because that was, especially in country, what you do? Woo, I'm stuffed like a hog. When you supposed to eat it, you stuffed like a hog because they'll teach you eating for fuel. Right. Food is supposed to be fuel. Right. Your car had no business cut off and start cranking because you put gas in it. You put gas in it, it's supposed to be ready to go. So they teach us the wrong way. That's why it's hard for us to understand the concept because we eat food to go to sleep. Man, what's up? Everyone gonna do? Man, I'm gonna get something and go to sleep. Because I'm gonna eat food, that's where it's gonna put me. But typically eating food, you're supposed to get. So that's why he told me any consent not to wholesome work. Wholesome means promoting some essential for growth. Got it? That's what food's supposed to do. So now you're looking at what you've been eating. This is what they promote for you. Fat is not healthy. Right. It's just not. So the way you eat is the death. But we had to understand that from a carnal concept in order to understand it from Ruach. When they ate that yum from that pari, it only promoted one thing for them and was not essential. That was moot. Because he had designed it to be ka'i. But the way they saw it as moot. So people that become haters of Turah are people who don't understand that the Turah actually came to get you to life. It kept you to live so you can get to be a recipient of the reward. The way they teach it, man, the law, man, folks just die, they just kill people. The law wrong, the law, man don't need law. And man ain't got the brain to operate on his own. He showed us when man operated and man had no Turah. Man came right into destruction. He leave man his own device. He didn't show the what happened to man. You can't make it on your own. You need instruction. I can't just leave it in your hand. No more you give a 2-year-old and say, get them to go and cook dinner. And buy. Who sent a 2-year-old to go buy groceries? All y'all just got checked. I went to get Alka-Seltzer. Small thing, not grocery. You don't send them right. Oh, y'all got checked for that. Come on, I'll put yours out there. And put one, you and your wife. Huh? Which one on? Britt? Oh yeah, Britt got to get one. Last night you did good, Britt. Today, you have embarrassed us, Britt. So these are the things we look at because you look at a skill level. You look at the ability of. So now we try to look at how we got to mature and how we have to see things and don't look at the Turah as something that we got to defend against. Our defense is against the ignorance that come in and try to get us away from. All right, come on. 6.
But now we have been released from the Turah.
Yeah.
Because we have moved to what we were held by it. Mm-hmm. That from now on, we should serve according to the newness of the Ruach and not according to the oldness of the Katah.
See, this definitely almost sounds like that you don't have to have a law anymore. But we know that couldn't possibly make sense. So when we start talking about serving in newness, because we didn't know how to live and coexist with it. Y'all got it? We knew how to kind of bang against it. So now, because of the oldness of how we saw things and how we operated, and because we worked in so much carnality, we looked at it was always a fight against it. Every time we inherited something, it was taken away from us. Every time we were free, we were brought back into captivity because of the way we viewed the Turah. And it was because we didn't understand that the flesh, y'all got it? Because of the flesh. Even when Yahushua came, he told us how, what if you should see the Ben Ish ascend up where it was before. Mm-hmm. He said it's the Ruach that what? That maketh alive. And that's what he wants to see the Turah as the Ruach, something that make alive. That's what they were supposed to understand, that concept about the law. With the purpose of killing people out that were violators and keeping the people alive, they kept it, was to try to show you that the Turah actually instilled life. Right. It promoted life. Right. The keepers are actually live. He told you, and by you kids, by obeying your parent, that things might do what? and that you might do what? See, you need that attachment. You're supposed to be afraid of dying. I ain't scared. I'm ready to die right now. No, I want you to fear death. Because that's part of the concept I use to make you want to do things that make you live. You got some people that say, like they know they went up there and they did what that was y'all did? Zip lining. No, I ain't never, but every person look at, I ain't doing it. I ain't getting no, they like, man, they look at some folks, they don't want to go no higher. Then the elevator gonna take them a little couple of floors. They said the door closed, they don't see it a couple of steps. Because they're afraid when they get up there, they can see their death is more imminent. So they don't want to do anything, they're gonna put them close, they're gonna put them close at death being so imminent, so close to them. There are a lot of things people say, I ain't gonna do it. Some people ain't gonna get on no boat, no what. Their boat might get a hole in it, might go down, might drown. So you need all those fears and phobias. He said, I need you. Listen, Yasharal wasn't gonna do right till they fear living. When Yahushua came and spoke to them, Yahuwah spoke to them, the existing one, and told them what the commandments were, what were those people fearing? They want him to start talking, lest we die. And you know, he said, they well spoken. See, he can work with it. Don't y'all know where the beginning of wisdom starts at? Fear. Same thing with a parent with a child. When they're small, it's things you don't really do. You say, well, I want to whip them to serve. Once you start putting that in, because you got to get them to get a fear. Yes, sir. So Yahuwah looked at with Yasharal, you need a fear. And that fear keeps you where certain things you say, I ain't gonna do that. I know my dad, my mama kill me. Yeah. See that? We used that, it wasn't literal, but we felt like, yes, it was. Yes. And then we felt like, literally, they'll kill me. Yes. You know, you do some, you win, you did, it's some stuff you look at, my parents killed me. Mm-hmm. And you needed that fear because it kept you from. So he needed to establish a fear with them. Y'all got it? And that's what you gotta have. You gotta have a fear. Fear keeps you from doing things. And if there's no fear, he looked at people, that's what he denoted about them. There's no fear. And he like, that's the only way you could be committed. There's no fear. You don't feel like I actually do what I said I'll do. So I gotta take Kai from you. So when people that know you and people see you start seeing you on the demise, when people start seeing you down, then other people will get fear and they'll realize, Elohim took them down. So don't be no fool. They're going to take you down just so somebody else will start believing. Yes, come on. What is it?
If so, it is said that the Turah, Qatar.
See that the Turah is saying, what happened?
Let it not be.
He said, no, let it not be. What happened?
But I did not know Qatar except through the Turah.
See that? So the Turah, so people to see that, he didn't know it is said that the Turah is sin. They be people say, you keep the law, Dave. Man, that's sin. That man keeping sin. See, because people understanding. So because y'all know we've been ignorant like that. So y'all see why so many people flock to Christianity. Because these people have improperly taught something. So they have associated that the law is sin. The law is not sin. Sin uses the law, and that's how it puts you in violation. We talked about two things you remember. Transgression, my all. Then you look at katayim. Transgression is to go against. When you sin, you miss. In order for you to sin, you have to transgress. You cannot sin without transgressing. See, these are all the steps. Okay, he told them, when the serpent told him, when we heard it from Adam in the second chapter of the book of Abary, they call Genesis 2 and I think 16. He told him, we showed him all the ox, the trees in the garden. He told him all the trees he eat of, but the day he eat of that ox, that he was going to move. He was going to surely move. That's when we learned it. Am I correct? When the serpent asked Korah, she said, all he had said not to eat it. He said, don't even touch it. See, you already set yourself in transgression. See, these are steps starting letting you know how you get into things. Versus you're here now. You look at, how did I get into sin? Man, how I do it? How I commit sin, man? How I do it? That first of all, start looking at transgression. Right. So you went against. So you find yourself in a double situation where this is a double negative for you. So you start learning, first of all, how not to transgress. And that's why I told them don't touch it. Because there's no way when you start handling it, you ain't gonna get yourself into a situation. So I'm gonna start setting parameters up for you. Don't transgress, don't sin. So I'm gonna teach you about transgression, and I'm gonna teach you about kata, sin. So first thing we do, because we were ignorant people, we just jumped ourselves, the law is sin. What you should pick up about them, that they will continue to violate. So like we do when we fail, it's just like I'm in class, I keep getting bad grades, my teacher's stupid. That don't really know I'm failing. If I have a stupid teacher, I wouldn't be failing. How many of y'all, that's why y'all kids, how many of y'all had kids failing before I had kids that fell below the number? Anybody? Okay, now everybody kid fell. Everybody done. Ain't never happened for one person. Okay. And it because the teacher was stupid. See that? But it typically also do that. Oh, dumb, stupid teacher. That's all it is. Don't like my kid and fell. See, these natural occurrences that we have get you to understand how people do. When they're not able to do and perform and meet the standard, you put it off on something else.
Right.
Since so many people have died by transgression and because of by my own transgression and by covetous sin, people naturally associate it can't be nothing but the law.
Mm.
It's the law that's wrong. What else can be it? It can't be nothing but the law. Because people don't want to admit, like Una did when he was on the ship. Boss and me. He ain't blame the ship. This old stupid ship driver, dumb behind, don't know what he doing, and got us out here in this water. He said, no, boss and me.
Yes, sir.
Come on. All right.
Because I would not have known the covetousness
Because I would not have known covetousness
if the Turah had not said, you shall not covet.
He said, I want to know what it was. I wouldn't know I was coveting and let the Turah taught it to me. And then when I started to look at some, let's see what covetous means. Can we see what the definition? We'll look at it from two ends. Let's look at it from an English definition, since we speak this language, and then we want to look at it from the Abary. They're called the Hebrew, and we look it up. I typically, if I looked up something, I like to look at it from. I look it up at Hebrew lexicon because I want to get into linguistics. You look at lexicon, you deal with linguistics. I like to kind of look at where you kind of coming from. Not they don't, because each one of these people have different ways that they'll try to say what a different how a word looks or how to do it. I want to kind of get to where. How did you see this? The people who we're trying to attach ourselves to, how did they view this? That's always to me. How did you view it? How did you see it? Because I want to see it that way. If he spoke with you, if he gave you the promise, if he gave you Kai, why would I want to see it the way you see it? I don't want to see it how, well, today, how, I don't want to see how we see it today. I want to see it the way they saw it. I need to root back to something. We saw Yahushua, we saw him at the root of Dawood. Y'all get it? When we see him as no new way, we saw him at the root, stemming right out from it. Y'all got it? Covetous. Having or showing a great desire to possess something belonging to someone else. That's what you did with the other heart of Jesus. Everyone needs religion, everything you got is covetous. A lot of stuff they got, he said, I want to know it. He said the Turah had told it to me. So you start looking at having the mind of Yahuwah. Y'all having the mind of Yahushua. He had understanding of what it is he like and what he don't like. Some belong to somebody else. He said, you don't want to have no strong desire for it. That's not yours. That's going to lead to something. I want that. Let them say why. Hold on a second. Say, just put your sleep at let them say it. Hold up, let them say it. Man, I want that wise. I want that wise. You giving it to me? I heard he just said. He ain't going to give it to me. And I really want it. Where they going? So I'm saying it's gonna come with it's gonna build something in me against him till I'm gonna work toward him to get it. Y'all got it. So that's when you start looking at things possessed, and he wants us not to do it because we actually took this on. That's how we wound up trying to possess these other Elohims, trying to seek these other gods these people had. So it taught us a parameter and taught us a bearing on how far you go with desires. It look and say, let me say again, that's a nice watch, and that's why I leave it. Some of us will go too far. That's simple with a wife. And I know people don't see it, but you'll do that sometime with relationship. You'll do it with other things you'll see people with. And now you'll start to make it your drive to try to make somebody fall or come to their hurt so you can obtain it. It'll start off innocent, but then it'll get to be a violation. Now you're going to put yourself in somewhere that moves to death because now this is the power you planted. See, where it started with my liking of it, if I don't cut it off, it's going to become a seed. And the only reason to have a seed is to plant it. And you only plant seed because you need them to grow. And that seed gonna come up that they're gonna yield me to do something to him, they're also gonna be to my demise. So you gotta watch what you plant. You gotta watch what you start. See, a lot of us don't realize how to catch things before they get too far. By the time we try to apprehend them, we out in the, I need to get up and confess. Like, you mind if I can get up, I need to get up and tell the congregation something. And if you go back and look at it and you paid attention to where your transgression started, isn't that right? This is already finna be a violation. And now you're finna miss them all. Because this sets you on a mahalah, on a journey to be a possessor of the promise. And now you missed it because you done got yourself taken up with what? With transgressing, and now you wind up sinning, and now you done missed them, now you missed the reward. Okay? Let's see. Plunder, gain, usually unjust. Covetous, dishonest gain, lucre, profit. Let's look at the root. To finish, to stop. Oh, basta. See. Yes. Top. Okay. Sounded best, only use the B. Okay. Remember to root, to break off, usually plunder. B, covetous, cut off. I don't know why that would use King James for where they're trying to finish, fulfill, gain, greedily, get, be given, to be covetous. Look it up. Let me just see what, type in Hebrew lexicon, and let me just see how to, okay, you put Hebrew lexicon, okay, you already did that. That looked different though when it came up. Strong lexicon. This one you hit right here. I don't know when I studied like this. They doing it BE best. See, these people can't agree on nothing. Come back down for a second. That's why I tell you why I'm not something. Brown and Bridge, I don't know what they for. I don't know. Now you saw they spell it him. They put BETSA. Is this the same word we just looking at? Is this the root? Oh, okay. We was just looking at the root. Well, we're looking at, come on. Does this show the root too? Okay, let's see what the root is. Okay. We'll do it the same way. To cut off, break off, gain by unrighteousness, violence, get finished, be covetous, be greedy, to cut off, to stop, to gain wrongfully by violence. Equivalent, frequent, to cut off, server, separate. Okay. Okay. We go back up to what we're reading. So, but kata, sin, finding reason in me. This is what we just love. This is what we're reading now. Finding reasons in me. Is this what we starting here? This is not what we just read, correct?
Finished verse at 7.
That was 7. Okay. So he said, "We had not known covenant had it not been for the law." But kata, finding reason in me through the Amar, work within me all covenants, for without the Turah, sin is moved. There is no sin without Turah. So it found occasion. So now we find out the law come through and the law started to find things in us. Let's see. Now we find out in the 4th chapter of the book of Abary, they call Hebrew. That's why he told us that the Debar Elohim is quick, sharper, cutting between the joint and the marrow, and is a discerner of the and the. You see what the Turah come to do? It came to cut. That's what it come to do. So since it don't just come on, we look at the operations of, man, if it wasn't for the law, man, I wouldn't be wrong. Well, the Turah also came through and found out where you had defects at. Chinks in your armor. Y'all got it. Look at that. I mean, that's what it did. The way it's described, that's what we look at. Man, if it wasn't for the law, I'd be righteous. But the Turah also came in and found out where we had defects. He told you, see, but sin, rather sin, finding a reason in me through the commandments, worked in me all covenants, for without the Turah, sin is moot. It don't live. It don't exist without it. Now, so what he should do is get rid of the law. But the law writing is how we learned that the promise was coming to us. You wouldn't even learn about the promise that wasn't for the law. How did you read it? How did you know about it? You see that everything people want to get rid of, you could even be obtained. You wouldn't even know that something was even there for you if it wasn't for the law. So, but it did come to identify to show us some things about ourselves. Y'all got to remember in the book of Bereshit, he told us, let us make each, what was again? After our image, after our what?
Like,
and then let them what? Possess. So the only way you're going to possess it, you're going to have to be like him. So you missed that, didn't you? I said, let us make man in our image after our likeness and let him have. So I'm gonna let him possess. When? After he come in possession of being like me. When there's no defect, when there's no chinks in his armor. When he can comply, when he's consistent, then he can possess. You trying to possess, you ain't even done, you done another thing. The whole ideology was to make him like me. Let him be like us. Well, you need Turah to do that. Because all these things are things I do. When Shabbat comes, he said, I don't do nothing. Why would you be doing something? Because then you wouldn't be like me. See, all the things he gave you to keep, he says, I'll keep. Everything he gave you, because the whole idea was to make you like him. Not just in a physical form, but also how I operate mentally, how I discern things, how I acknowledge things, how I do things. That's why he broke Moshe up, or he said, now, see, use your own, your appearance, pay attention to appearance, acknowledge what I'm telling you, and do all things after the manner in the mouth. That means you be, guess what Moshe was to Aharon? He was Elohim. Was he Elohim before he came up on the ark? After he had saw the workings and had heard the ideas of Elohim and he attached himself to it. He said, you are Elohim and he's going to be your Nabal. Before he was a Nabal. He said, but now you're going to be Elohim to him and he's going to be your Nabal. Because you're doing everything just like I do it. Why wouldn't you be Elohim? Yeah. Why would they not recognize Joseph, who they call Joseph, as Pharaoh, when you do everything that Pharaoh told you? And this is the very exact thing that Pharaoh does. Why wouldn't you see him as Pharaoh? You have his ring, you ride in a chariot like him, you do everything like him. Yehuda said, you're nothing but, I know you just as Pharaoh. Imagery, the way you rule, the way you discern things. So how are they going to recognize us as Elohim when we don't discern things the same way? Stop trying to fight it and get out of something and get into something. That's right. So he told you, he's letting you know, because this is constantly what we are. For without the Turah, sin is moot. There is no sin. Come on. This is natural. This is how you rationalize it. Listen.
I was Kaid informally without the Turah.
See that? But what happened?
But the Amar came.
What happened?
Kata, Kaid.
Adam did that. Adam had that estate. Just like a lot of us, a lot of things we didn't know were wrong until the Turah came. We were operating in mood that didn't even know we were dead. And he said, I was alive once without it. He said, but once it came, he said, that's when I moved. Because it came to show me everything that was wrong about myself. Come on.
And I moved. And when I found that the Amar had gave in Kaid to me, had to move.
Hold on. And hold on, stop it again. I'm just run past some. And I died. And it was found that the Amar that gave in life to me had to die. You know what I found? I had to die. The Turah came to give him life. Remember in Bereshit? I'm sorry. Remember in Alah Ha Dabarym, we read in the 4th chapter when he started telling them about how all of them was alive that day. They had adhere, which is the whole of stick fast to, that kept the Turah. And as he looked at war, he said, then I found this thing is death. Because you're going to have to give up something. That's how we look at it. We come in something. It's like, it felt like you died. You can't do nothing. All the stuff, you should like go to the movie, let it go out, just do stuff, go shopping on Saturday. Dog, I can't do nothing. Yeah, it's death to you now. Because all the things you got to give up, behaviors and habits, you got to give them, it's death to you now. You got to change everything. Clothes, stuff you got to throw away. You ain't going to be able to wear no more stuff you can't do. It's death. Because it doesn't restrict me from everything. Goodness, everything I do wrong. Yeah, that's what the Turah come along and show you. And so you always dramatize them, take more of what it is. Everything you do is wrong. It just came as some things that you love. It came some things that was more habit forming, it's harder to break. So now when I read, they're like, you can't do nothing. I can't breathe. So you always over dramatize to make it look like it's the Turah. That's how we think, we human. That's why he looked at, listen to what he's saying, it makes sense, get rid of the law. But then I wouldn't know nothing about the promise. Okay? Sir. Listen. Come on.
Kata, finding reason through the mark, deceived me and killed me through it.
See that? Know what they're doing? It deceived me. What did Carl tell y'all when she was in the gun? When all he asked her about, she had eaten the tree. See that? He found a reason to deceive me. See, because sin uses the Torah, and that's how it gets you. It learns things about you. It does. It more or less, it picks up on traits about you that you wouldn't know. And it had to be found out about you. And that's what it did. She realized something. It deceived me. It deceived me on my light because I thought my likes would be okay. I thought my wants would be okay. And then I found out later that this is a defect. And this defect doesn't give me boot. So now I become more cautious and more apprehensive about just joining, just jumping to do something now. Because I realize something, it can get me out there and I can be deceived. Hello? I know it's a little slower for y'all, but the reason why we have to look at it this way, you're never going to stop it until you understand it. So a lot of times you trying to fight something. This your what you finna do, you just finna start praying more now. And you just get dumb and dumber because you don't know what you're doing. Praying is not going to help you right now. You need to understand. When he told them people just pray, he's instructing you. You need information. You need directions. You need to understand and comprehend how you get yourself in these violations. So once you understand it, guess what? Now I know what I need to do. Now I know what I need to do. But I don't know. I'm just thinking, just pray, child. When sometimes just be praying and praying. Get people just, and they squeeze their eye tight and tighter, and you ain't getting no smarter. You're not getting any smarter. You just keep doing something that other people are doing, and you ain't getting nowhere. Yeah, and then you start lying to yourself. I did it. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. You need to understand so you can get the understanding, so you know how to halak. You know how to walk. Y'all got it? Come on.
So that the Torah is Kodash.
See that? See, earlier he said that the Torah was sin. Now he just told you that the Torah is separated. Kodash, that's all it is, it's separated. And tell them what else.
And the Amar is Kodash.
They're separated.
Honest.
And what else?
And honest.
And two. And two, and good.
Then has that which is two become moot to me. Let it not be.
See that? Now he's looking at the thing that became honorable and the thing that became honest and the thing that became two. It became something bad to me. He's trying to rationalize just like we do. Like a lot of us, we can't understand why I can't do right. Why I can't keep doing right. Why I always keep messing up. I want to blame it on the Torah, that the Torah wrong, that the Torah not fair. So I'm trying to rationalize why. Now he asking question, why? Why has this become something that's separated? Something that's good, something that's honest. Why has it become bad to me? Come on.
But the kata, so that kata might be manifest, was working moot in me through what is two.
See, the purpose of higher word wasn't to get you to see that the law was bad. It would get you to see that sin was. See, when I started to grade every behavior that he grades as death, then I start to look at the Torah as good, too, and honest, because it shows me how to continue to live by not committing acts. And it showed me those things aren't for me because they take away life. It's like cigarettes. A lot of times you tell people all the time, and they tell one time, they say, every time you smoke a cigarette, you take 7 days off your life. That would start maybe stuff. Let me go and cut these things out, get rid of them. Then you start seeing people die from cigarette smoking, getting cancer. You start seeing, you start looking, you start adding, start saying, this could be you. So there was more motivation looking at, I got to get away from anything. I start seeing people who did throat cancer and all the stuff, so more or less push you away from it. It had to appear so it could appear that way to me. And we just smoking, and you tell me smoking bad, I ain't seen nobody die. Ain't no cancer. I ain't seen no trach in the throat. I ain't heard that, push that button. I mean, really, you just talking. Until I see people falling off in cancer and people get ate up from it and seeing people, and I start saying, oh, cigarettes bad. See, he had to let me appear. So the same way with them. So people say, you want a cigarette? Oh, no. Want no cigarette. And they were like, why are you so dramatic about it? Because I know the defects. So now when somebody try to come and invite you to commit qatar, since you know people die from it. So you know how detrimentally, oh, no, not interested. No, not interested at all. They be like, well, you ain't gotta say it like that. It's because of how it appears to me. Yeah. See, that's what he just said. The Torah came in to make it appear as it was. So a lot of times your appearance or how your concept about sin ain't what it is. You thinking it's kind of okay. So he know I'm gonna do it anyway. That don't make sense to try to get you away from it and keep killing people, and I know you're gonna do it anyway. I'm trying to show you, and the reason why people down right is to get you and change your appetite and curb your appetite where you leave it alone. Let me tell you, even with obesity. A lot of people don't see it that way. You see people die. Have y'all ever seen how fat actually look? See, that a lot of times we know when they start getting more in depth about that because of the curb you away from it.
Right.
You say, man, everybody fat. That ain't good though. They start showing you the health defect. They try to curb you away from it. Get you away from things, because you need to see just how unstable it is. You need to see exactly where it goes, so it gives you a motivation to say, I need to get away from it, and then stay away from it. You start seeing the defects of what thing happened. Well, that's what you look at with sin. That was something just small, natural. But to get you to see sin, you need to see people that we know who've been here and died from it. He need you to see how far people get and can't recover, get back. Let you see, I don't want to do that, because the flesh will say, you need to have some fun. You know, you really ain't never did that for yourself. Everybody do something. I mean, come on, man. You follow these folks and think it was a hypocrite. I know folks I know all these folks be doing. So I'm sitting up trying to hold out all these folks be doing something. Man, sure, I'm gonna do me something. Because you haven't been motivated by how many people been cut off by you look seeing that seduce you. And it's entice you to get you out there. And now you find yourself, you're a partaker of mood. And now you can't, now you got to try to recover life. That like me, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to recover life. I would deceive, I would pull it out there. And what you realize, that's why a lot of stuff, people waste the time. People don't even come talk to me about stupid stuff. You know, I don't entertain, I don't have no time for no food, because I already know about it. I already know where it's going. I know what the wages and the compensation of it is. I already know when you take the power of it, what is going to happen. But it's been because of error. It's because of mistake. It's because of a long struggle, how hard it is to try to get here. You realize it's too hard to get here and stay. I can't afford to do it. I don't want no people that I get turned off. It's hard to get me back. So you got to know yourself. I don't get myself out there. I already know. I'm not one of them people. I don't have that moderate end for the world. I'm extravagant with the world. So I don't want to do it. You can do a little something. Little something gonna be a lot something.
That's right.
So you gotta know yourself. It don't work for me. Y'all get it? And for the people that feel like they just do little something, you're a fool. Little something, big something, all of the same size in their own.
That's right.
It is. They'll fool you. Ain't like I'm doing a whole life. Like I'm doing ain't like I'm killing babies. That's how you justify it. They gonna some people got pity for anything you're doing wrong is wrong.
That's right.
He said all Rosha, all wrong, all evil stuff. He said all of it's sin.
Yeah.
So it don't matter if you do a little one or a big one. It's all got to be considered. It's all got to be considered the same. When you start grading little and big, that's gonna be a problem, because you're gonna get ready to do something. I know we do. People got the small sin, big sin, and that's gonna be your problem right there. All that gotta be measured the same way. You know why he told you this? In your house, what was you supposed to keep? Think about this. I gotta keep everything in my house. I'm cooking. Who in here cooks? I'm telling you, stop. No. I ain't asked who go to the store and get no ready-made meal and stick it on the microwave. You're not cooking. Who cooks? So if you cook, what do you have to use? Season. Some seasons you're going to favor more than others, which means some seasons going to be a higher level, going to be a larger volume of it because you don't use as much. Some's going to be lower because you use it more than that. How the Turah came through, everything was supposed to be the same level. So if I use a whole bunch of salt, I'm going to have to get everything to that level. Everything will be the same level. Get that salt right back up. So you know what happened now? You keep an equality. So you'll be surprised, because you'll see them lows and highs like that, you grade things different. You look at things, the stuff you don't use them up, really, you can stick that in the back, because I don't really use it. So when you come across matter, that's how you're going to judge it. But when you have to work to keep everything to the same level, that means I got to keep checking everything. You think about it, man, that's stupid. What kind of sense that make? Really, I don't even really need this. I can take it out, and that's what you do with the Turah. So when he make you the way you got to keep everything the same level, that means I got to be conscious of every season in him. I got to make sure nothing don't get, this is constant. I got to keep examining every day. Let me put it, make sure with it. Let me get it. Hold on, put it on the way. This one, oh, I need to get that back up. So everything sitting in the cabinet, everything the same level. You ain't gonna believe it. Every time you cross something in the Turah, it's the same. And you ain't gonna believe it. It don't matter what you like. Think about it. What you like, you use more of, right? What you don't like it much, you use less of. Guess what happens? If you keep all of them to the same level, it don't matter what you like. It's all the same. Who taught us that? The Turah. Think about it. Just call it. That's stupid. I ain't got time to be trying to keep up with no every season, no doing draw. Trying to make sure everything stays in no same. That's crazy. I'm gonna use some more than I'm gonna use other. Someone ain't gonna use. And he gonna say, no. Everything gonna stay the same level. It don't matter what you like. So when it come down to judgment matter, it don't matter who you like. It's the same for everybody. See how you had to understand that, don't? Now, if you take the way they say how they're just teaching, you just gotta be fair with everybody. You can say that, but do you really understand it? So when he tell you in your cabinet, everything got to be the same. It's got to be the same level. You can't have different weights in your house. You can't have a smaller weight. All of it has to be the same. It don't matter who you hang with. It don't matter who you like the most. It don't matter what. It's all got to be the same. So when you come down to judge a matter, they say, well, I want you to judge between your friend and your enemy. It's going to be right. Because all I know how to do, because everything he gave me, the concept, it got to be right. That's all. It don't make no difference. I really don't like this one. It don't make no difference. They got to be the same level. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Do we understand that?
Yes, sir.
How do we didn't get that from ourselves. We got it because the Turah taught it to them. So it meant they constantly would have to, that means you have to constantly go back through everything to make sure it's the same. You ain't gonna believe it. We gotta constantly go back through the Turah to make sure everything is the same.
Yes, sir.
See, it all makes sense. But of course it don't make sense when I got a carnal mind. So my carnal mind, this just put me too far out the way. It's too much responsibility, but it's to teach you how to be fair when you do something. Okay. Come on, let's finish up. Come on.
So that kata through the Amar might become exceedingly kata.
I need to see that. I need to put that emphasis on, especially when you see people turn around and die. It's the appearance of. We talk about the eye. The eye, from what they tell us, is just sight. For us, it ain't just sight. The eye means appearance. Y'all, that's how I can take knowledge of a situation. You can judge things by your eyesight. I see somebody go back there, Tamika go across there and grab our cool Lancaster pocketbook and run out the door. I said, she ain't said nothing. I said, she just grabbed her pocketbook and just stole it. And then she's trying to get out of him. My eyes will tell me that. I ain't got to hear her saying, look, Ra, I'm running over here grabbing her pocketbook to steal Lancaster's purse and I'm running out the door to steal it. She had to say a word. I picked it up with my eyes. So you can learn from sight. When Musa told in the 4th chapter of the book of Alah Ha Dabarym, the first thing he told, he said, see, I taught you. Statutes and judgment, they was able to see it too. So from their sight, he told them, see, you all are alive this day. So when I'm looking around and see who alive, I also recognize who ain't him. And you know what else I put together? They did not all obey. He had to say, Jerry, Lewis, and Tom, he'll tell me nothing. He said, see, you all are alive this day. They have obeyed. So my eyes tell me, I said, what you call it dead? And what you call it dead? And such dead, and such dead. So I already put together from my eye, they have not all obeyed. Y'all see that? That's what they recognize. They have not all obeyed. He had to tell her, he had to call her by the name. I ain't trying to throw at nobody. Y'all notice somebody who do all that singing and hollering? You know, I ain't gonna call no names, throwing no rocks and then no good. They had to do none of that. He said, every one of you who are alive this day are the ones that adhere to. You know what I'm saying? He had to do the stuff, you know what I'm saying? The stuff that we typically look at trying to do. He said, how to, with your eyes. You can tell from appearing with your sight. That's why we look at him appearing. He said, he appear, every ear is going to do what? The eye gonna tell it what you see. Y'all got it? So we learn why these members are given us. These senses all work for something. Listen, I don't buy into ideology or teaching that exclude 6 senses. Was it 5? 5 senses. 6 is the movie. I say that, baby. 5 senses. He can't do anything to me, for me, if it don't work within inside the parameters of 5 senses. I can see, I can hear, I can smell, I can touch, I can feel. Anything he'll do outside it is not gonna work for me. This is how it has to work for you. He had to work within. He gave me 5 senses for what reason? When Adam knew he was coming, what did he tell us about the day? So how he knew it was cool? Because he looked at his thermometer, so I could feel it. How did he know he told him he knew he was coming? I can hear you. See, he has to work with inside the senses. These people try to get out of something and realize everything he do, it has to work with inside the 5 senses. Now, let's stop letting these people make a fool out of you. Everything got these people gonna do in teaching, you're instructing, you're hearing, and you're seeing something. All this involved with inside the realm of your of what you do. Even it told you about you, it told you taste and do what? Wow, that Yahuwah is what? Huh? When I ingest, when I take it in, he said you can taste it because your table, you put some in your mouth, so you say, what the world is that? How you able to do that? Your eyes, your mouth, there are senses in there, those buds in your mouth let you know whether or not it's attracted to take what it is. That's your first, this right here is a real sensitive area. And it's an area that easy to take apart. You know how many people in poison they kill? You know how they poison kill you? They'll sweeten it with something. No one has eaten poison and said, ooh, this tastes nasty. Ooh, it's some nasty feel. Something wrong with your mental. Because your mind's supposed to tell you, that's another, I don't care they say it good, you say, I don't want no more. Because your brain registered, your taste bud said, this shouldn't go down here. This will protect the layer to stop it from getting here. Because once something get in here, it's dispersed through your whole body. So the mouth is also a first guard, this first line of protection. When you get here, you say, what is that? What is that stuff? Because the mouth and the brain are ready to say, stop it. Don't let it go down there. Because if it's that bad here, it's going to be worse here. That's why I gave it to you. Think about it. Your stomach don't know nothing until it get, by the time it get here, it's sick, it's queasy. Now you got to go some other way. You got to go to the hospital, get pumped in, because the mouth's supposed to work and pick up. You know, how many of them had eaten some stuff and we kind of tasted something a little fun, but we kept eating it? To teach you, you need to pay attention. Mm-hmm. That was your first guard of defense. You said, it had a kind of funny taste. Stop and put it down. But you need to do it the first time so you'll start paying attention to guards and warnings. We always had to do. We had to do it. Some stuff you pick, you say, He said, I don't want it. It said something, some table. Because you know, I know about being in front of that toilet praying, they facing God. Everybody's fucking blah. Y'all know it ain't blah, blah, blah. Everybody call that name. Everybody said the same. Everybody speak that. Isn't that right? And when you get through going through that and you can't sleep, as soon as you sound, you got to get back up. That thing work you so much. You know what? You start paying attention to the guards.
That's right.
And then they protect us. So guess what? He set up protected guard for you. First of all, I gave you transgressions before you get to Kata. These are warning, then you know you're getting ready to violate. You're getting ready to go against. It's time for you to get on back. So I got to set these protected layers up to try to keep you. Hello? Yes, sir. Okay. I'm gonna finish this up so we get through. Listen.
For we know that the Turah is Ruach.
Tell them what has happened.
But I am of Basar.
Who bought you?
Sold through the Kata.
See that? You start realizing. See, everybody want to put the Turah as carnal. It's not. He said the Lord is Ruach. He said it is spirit. He said, I'm carnal. I was looking at it one way. He said, I realized something that the Ruach is Ruach. I mean, the Turah is Ruach because I'm looking, it's giving me life. Okay, let's look at Adam in the garden. Okay, where did he take Adam from? The Adamah. What is the Adamah? The ground, which is spiritual, carnal. Carnal. What did he breathe into him? The Ruach. So he understood the Lord. He understood the Torah, that it was life. What came from him, he gave life. He gave him life, not in just the fact that he created him. He gave him life in the fact that he gave him rule and structure to keep him living. Come on, man. I got to get, listen, if he fell out here, hypothetically, he fell out, and I had to get him mouth to mouth, and we'll get one I could, get him mouth to mouth, get him back up, because I don't look at it, be all over YouTube. So listen, get him back up, we get him. Then we just going to let him sit back up, we just keep going. What are we going to do? Do what? That's right, why are we going to take him to the hospital? We got to make sure he can keep living. Because if he fell out, he could possibly do it again. So we want to get him somewhere and get him in a state that we make sure now he can stay conducive, he can continue to keep life. So guess what he did? When he made Adam and he breathed in his life, he breathed in his nostril, the breath of life, he put him where he can make sure you can keep him. I got to make sure you stay in this state. Come on. If I gave it to you, you can lose it. But if I keep you here, where I can keep monitor on you, where I can keep observation on you, then I can keep you living. When you go to the hospital, how many days when you go ahead and order you some McDonald's, some Chuck E. Cheese, they're going to pretty much feed you where they feel like that's going to be conducive to your health. Guess what he did when he put me in the gun? I gave him food that conducive to his life. I just gave you life. You can lose this. You're in a critical state. So I need to give you a diet so you can continue to live. Let's send you home. Write you up an order. When you go home, do this and do this. When you got here and do this and do this. Because all this is conducive on keeping you alive. So that's how you got to look at the Torah. This is conducive on keeping you alive, the diet. Because this is about your well-being. He told you about doing things with your parent, and your parent, they tell you something. The thing do what now? Yeah. What is well? They talking about in a better state. F you, mama. Mother, break you, mother. And you know what? I'm finna go work out. I'm gonna take my proteins. I don't do no dairy, none of that stuff. But mother, F you, daddy. I'm finna go on and work out. What happened? See, it's not gonna be well for you. He said, you want to obey him so things will go well with you. You want things to be well. You want it's about your health. Shalom ain't just shalom. It's health, it's prosperity, it's wealth. That's what it means. When he came, he told him shalom. This is about your well-being. So I don't greet people and just tell them shalom. Hey, because I don't mean everybody. It's not for everybody. When Hushai came, he told them shalom. Because it's about their well-being. Why wouldn't you come in? He came to the port. You came to the port so I can stay poor? Really, I tell you, bro, you could stay where you were. I don't need nobody to help keep me. How many need somebody to help keep them poor and keep them down? So when he came to give you something. I can't give you health. I can't give you wealth. I can't give you prosperity because of the state you're in. It's all about how you view it. Come on. Come on.
For that, what I work, I do not know, for I do not do what I desire in him, but what I hated, that I do.
We all done had that. What we want to do right, and you can't do it.
That's right.
And what you wind up hating to do, that's what you wind up doing. That's the flesh. You can't just want in your mind. It's learning the operation of how to do it. People think all you just got to do is think and believe it. No, you got to think and believe it. You got to operate according to. It ain't something that just happened because you put in your mind. It's an attribute that goes with it. There's traits that go with certain things. Y'all got it. There's traits that go along with you being fulfilled. Because you'll find yourself like guess what we hate? Guess what we hate? When we get caught. Mm-hmm. Nobody bang-a-langing and crying and telling, oh, this is so wrong. Oh, this is wrong. No, it's wrong when I get caught and I got to pay for it.
Right.
Why would I do something I hate?
Yeah.
That makes no sense. Because what people think, just don't do what you hate. I hate the after effects of when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That's what he means by, does that make sense that he walk around doing stuff he hates? That makes no sense. Think about it. See, you think about something, you're not thinking about it properly. He's looking at the Torah, and he's looking at the fact that when I'm convicted by it and condemned by it, it's bad. I knew what to do, but I didn't do it. So that which I know to do, I didn't do. I wound up doing the thing that I hate, which means now I'm sitting in condemnation. Adon could understand that. So he knew not to eat of the tree. He said, so you ate of the tree I told you not to? Or he said, you ate of that tree they didn't tell you about? So he knew what not to do, right? And he did it. He knew what to do, and he didn't do it. Y'all understand that concept? See, if you don't understand a certain way, you're going to be doomed to continue to repeat it. Only time it comes out to hate is when you're in trouble. When kids get whooped, that's when they hate it. They don't hate the action they did while they were doing it. You only hate it when you get caught. That's the state he in. That's the state we're in. We don't have no problem with doing what we're doing. It's just when we get caught. It's just when we got to get recompense for it. That's when it's stupid. That's when it's dumb. That's when I shouldn't have did it. That's when I hate I did it. We never hate doing it while we're doing it. That's what he's trying to tell you. That makes sense? Okay, come on. Man, y'all look half dead. Do y'all want to understand? I'm good if y'all don't want. See, all I'm looking at this. We make too many stupid decisions every day. We do too much dumb stuff, and you keep just thinking repenting is the answer. You're not supposed to be repenting every day. The book said, let us move on to perfection, not laying again the works of the foundation of repenting from dead work. Man, that's elementary. We ain't got no business to keep doing that. Right. Every day I get up, I repent. So what you been doing? I just be repenting. That makes no sense. What can you repent for if you ain't done that?
Come on.
So you repent because?
Done wrong.
Only thing you should be repenting, if it's something I don't know, I need to know that so I don't continue to violate.
Come on. Yes, sir.
It makes no sense to keep repenting for something I've been doing because I shouldn't be doing it.
That's right.
Then I'm still in the same state.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
And when I do what I do not want, behold, I admit that the Torah is too.
Uh-oh. Y'all see that? When you go and commit and you do it wrong, he said, you commit. Bat me that down. And when I do what I do not want, behold, I admit that the Torah is too. Bat me back down. Hold on. For what? For that what I work, I do not know. For what I do not do, what I desire in him, that's all over the place. For what I work, I do not know. For what I do not do, what I desire in him. But what I hate, that I do. Okay, come on. And when I do what I do not want, behold, I admit that the Torah is too. Come on. Now, come on.
It is no longer I that work it, but the Katah dwelling within me.
I'm just telling you the sin. He's not removing no Torah. The Torah right. You just wrong. Quit looking for everybody else to blame. And just come into the midst and compliance of the Torah right.
Come on.
Because everything that the Torah told you, he's done it.
Yes, sir.
He said, the man that does these things,
Kaiba.
is that bad?
No.
That's two.
That's two.
So guess what that means? If I do, you think about this. If he tell me to walk straight,
yes, sir,
and they're gonna be a barak or benefit him and I do it, that's the Torah.
It's two.
That's right. He tell me to, if I turn away from it to the side, right or left, then they're gonna be deaf to me. And I die. Torah's still right.
That's right.
You can't have it one or the other. I mean, you can't have it both ways. It's right and wrong. The Torah right.
Yes, sir.
Because the same Torah that get light also get death. That's what make it two. Because I had the opportunity, if I stay with it, then I can obtain Kai, light. It gets me to the promise. But if I turn away from it, it leads to moot. It's still right. It's still right. It don't make it, it's still right because it yield life. It yield life to me. If you can't obtain it from it, don't call the Torah wrong. The Torah is still right. He told him clearly, behold, I set before you right and better. No, I set before you life and death. I said, but so you a baraka and an all curse. I gave you a benefit and I gave you a curse. And I told you to do something. What was it? I told you to choose life and do what?
Kai.
So you can live. So tell me how the Torah wrong.
It's not.
I said, he told you what I'm willing. You had both. You have an option. You have right, you have wrong. You have a baraka, you have an all. I'm telling you to choose life so you can live. If you're too dumb to know which one it is, choose the life, stupid, so you can live. The Torah is too. No. You chose death. Don't put it on the Torah. Yeah. He's gotten a bad rap from these sorry, piss poor preachers. Everybody trying to push off a different way to try to justify themselves. The Torah already been justified. He's already put it here for a reason. It's to get you so you can obtain the promise. Come on. Come on.
Nah.
Was he through?
Yeah, I've read 17.
Okay, come on. 18. Come on.
For I know that in me, that is, in my basar, dwells no two.
See that? What happened?
Because I wanted to do what is two, and I would not find.
See that? That's what he recognized. See, you don't recognize that about the flesh, you're going to keep messing up too.
That's right.
He's already know about the flesh. Ain't that two that work in the flesh. He said, I recognize that. Ain't that two. Because I'm going to find and do wrong. When you left it to the flesh is what got all of us in the predicament that we've gotten into, the desires of it. The wanting to accomplish of it, it puts us away from it. He said, I recognize that in this flesh dwelleth no two things. Listen,
For I do not do the two which I desire,
See that? What happened?
but the Rosha that I do not want it, that I do.
How many of y'all when we was out there? I know I went. I want to do right. I couldn't do it. Was anybody else like that? I did. I want to do right. I couldn't do it. You can when I cried, I did all that stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff didn't change. That stuff didn't do nothing. That didn't do nothing. But guess why we had to do that? How that had to happen? How else were we gonna be able to agree or understand his statement? Wanting to do it and can't do it, and look at it saying, it's like it's getting worse and worse. It's like I'm getting further and further off. You thinking but at least I want to do right. You realize it's not justified.
Yeah.
But at least I know it's wrong, so I'm growing. And he just no, you're not. That's not getting it. Knowing it wrong and doing it to you, that's sin. They said to him that know to do too, but don't do it. He said that's katata, that man. So it's like you ain't winning. You thinking, but I'm changing little by little. You're like, no. And you start realizing little by little change ain't working. It gotta get drastic. That's how it happened to me. It got drastic. You keep saying, I'm gonna start doing a little something here, and I start listening to gospel music. Then I said, well, I ain't gonna smoke when I gotta go to church. I smoke after I get through. I start putting a little gym, making these change. Right, this stuff not working.
It ain't work.
And as long as I could band-aid, I stayed. When you keep saying that thing leak through that band-aid, and it just profusely just pouring out, you said, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna sew this thing up. I had to close it off. It ain't working. You gotta go for like you make some drastic change. You realize it ain't working. You start off with that lie to yourself. What you do every day, just take baby steps. A newborn baby can't walk. You gotta know, it gotta get drastic. You realize I gotta get this thing right for that man cut me off. If you don't feel death imminent and you don't feel that man right on your heel, you playing.
Yeah, that's right.
You ain't gonna get nowhere. You don't wait time. I did. You don't stay out there. You don't keep staying. And you don't mess around and stay too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like somebody walking your shoes on. You say, goodness, why can't be so close? He said, I'm right here.
Right there.
He gonna keep stepping. He keeps stepping your shoe. Like, I gotta pick this thing up. I'm moving too slow. Ain't that right? I don't know. Now everybody, I told you, everybody come in a different way. I came in the rough way. The way I came in, I said, I can't do it. I ain't got nothing. I'm not gonna tell you, I ain't got nowhere to go.
Right.
Listen.
And if I do that, I do not want, it is no longer I who work, but the kata dwelling within me.
See that? Tell me what has happened.
I find then the Torah that when I want to do two, that Rosha is present with me.
They was in the gun. Who was in the gun with them?
Gosh.
That's right, because he know you trying to do right, huh? How many of y'all trying to do right? Good. He gonna be right there.
Right there.
So I already know. So that's good. I know what I'm dealing. I need to know before I get into something. If you're trying, he said, that's what I recognize. Now what I'm trying to do too, he right there. He right there to try to get you to fall from your steadfast. Come on.
For I delight in the Torah of Elohim according to the inner each.
See that? The inner man. Go ahead.
But I see a different Torah in the members.
See that? Y'all see that? He see two Torahs. Okay? It's a law that gets you to go against. That's the flesh. It's an inner man inside that realize you leaving him. Life is dissipating from you. You need to start listening to the inward man. Why you think Shaul said, though the outward man perishing, the inward man is renewed day by day. That's why you're going to renew it. You got to cut the outward man out from everything he gets. As long as the outward man is still being fed, it's hard for the inner man to be fed too. You can't feed both of them at the same time. It's hard. One ain't going to get fed. Listen, if you find one thing with Yahushua, he did a lot of fasting. Okay. 40 days the man was up there fasting. What you think it was about? I got to restrict it from what it, let me tell you what y'all don't do. You got to restrict the flesh from what it do. Going to places, you got to restrict it. You feeding it. Every time you take it where I want to go, every time you get it where they want, every time you feeding it. He can't help. Tell me about the house he stayed in, the house he had bought. Y'all remember that property when he bought? Yeah, the one he went and bought that house. The modest one. What you think that was about? What you thought about all the clothes he walking around? There were 12, each one of them had 12 suitcases. He said, carry my stuff. That man told you that the foxes had holes and the birds of the Shamuth had nets. He said, I don't even have nowhere to lay my head. What y'all think it was about? He had to strip the flag. What you think the flag? Okay, he came out here, he done got a house. What a house gotta have? Nothing. Furniture, insurance, utilities. What else gotta do? Paint, whatever. I mean, that's because, yeah, you're gonna get old, you gotta. So now, I gotta get ready. I gotta go. I supposed to be 9 tomorrow, early in the morning. Go. I said, oh shoot. You think you can push that back? I got the guys coming right for putting some flooring. Okay. I know it's funny. Once you get yourself entangled with so many things, it's hard to keep it obligated. So the purpose of what he was trying to show us, you have to restrict the flesh down. Am I telling you to go live outside or do it? No. But I'm telling you, a lot of things you get can sometimes hold you and keep you from because you're so obligated. He told us a simple marshali, they call it a parable. He said a certain man, he had a muhar, a feast, and he invited some. And when he sent out an invitation, everybody made excuses. One man said, here, Jeff bought a piece of land. You ain't gonna believe it. I need to go look at it. I ain't gonna be able to make it. Another one had just taken a wife in the shop. And he said, I just taken a wife so that I cannot come. Because you had your first year, you're supposed to spend a year cheering up. See, he said, everybody he invited, they all made excuses. What y'all think happened? We keep getting the tank, we have all this stuff. It will allow you to make excuses. Come on. I got kids. How many of y'all ain't got kids? Don't have. See, you don't understand. See, when you got kids, it's stuff you got to do. You see what I'm saying? So it puts you to where you start making excuses for things. Our obligation don't change. You the one did that.
Right.
That don't change on our obligation. You ain't got married. You went and had them kids. That don't change your obligation. And what we do, we'll use that. They're supposed to be running their mouth. They ain't got no wife. They ain't got no kid. They can run them, but they can go when they want to go. I can't be just jumping up with my whole family, everything. I got to be showing up 3 times a year. That man clear said, every male shall appear before me 3 times a year. Now, whatever you got going on, that's your problem. It did not say unless he have. Okay, I'm just trying to help. I know folks ain't grown yet. Really. Every male, he said, going to appear before me 3 times a year.
Right.
And none shall appear before me empty.
Right.
Now, whatever your obligations is, I ain't read that verse.
Right.
That's why I tell people, I tell you all the time, you really need to ask yourself to get your car. Why are you him?
Yeah.
Because you really look at this for what it is. The man got, this is what the man asked for. He kept, listen, I allotted you. I allowed you. On the man said he was giving a wife at dawn. He told you that the Benim and Elohim saw that the Banu, the Anashim were fair, and they took wife, all of whom they chose. See, don't you tell that lie to me. You chose that. And you took what you wanted, and you ain't going to take nothing away from this Turah. I told you don't take it, don't add to it. Okay. I know what your obligation. I know what the problem is. Well, I got this going, I got this. Don't worry about it. He grading it and noted, duly noted. Duly noted. See, that's why I tell people, this ain't for everybody. Don't fool yourself. Listen, you got obligation, you got commitment to other people, and you need to keep them so you don't look like a liar. So the Lord want me to be lying to other people? And it's like a sin to lie? Like to lie to him? When you say you're gonna go all the way? When you say I surrender all? Anybody looking at Kazab and him, they act like they got to keep their word with people. Man, bump these people. But keep your word to this man first. If you kept your word to him first, you ain't got no business lying to nobody else.
That's right.
Now the book says, so say and do.
That's right.
That's what it say. So the man told you, he said, I'm finding 2 laws here now. I'm finding one for the Ruach and I'm finding one for the flesh. Come on.
Waging war against the Turah of my mind.
See that? That's what's going on. Come on.
And bringing me a prisoner of the Turah of Qatar.
See that?
Which is in my members.
See that? And that's why he came to release them. The captain. That's what he told you in the book of Oriana, 4th chapter, when he came in came in the synagogue on the Shabbat Yom and stood up for the reed. He said, I came to set the captives free. That's right. I'm trying to keep I'm cutting a man off from being a sinner. That's why everybody on was upon him. Everybody's eyes there were fasting. He said, it's you. So they've been fulfilled in your ears. Because nobody could figure out how to stop being a captive to sin. So we needed some intelligence that came from Elohim. We needed information so we could discern. Y'all got it. We need to be able to discern. Consider, why you in your state? Why you keep following? Because you keep yielding to the flesh. He don't understand it. I've been there trying to justify it. I used to do go to prison ministry. I did so much stuff. I tried to help folks. I had a project, try to give money, help people. I was a drug dealer. I was shacking them, and I was a sinner. And nothing was said. All I do. He like, you don't think I accept this, do you? I just knew he would. I said, he'll look and say, but I'm doing good though. I'm helping people though. Son, you're a sinner. Son, I don't accept nothing you do. That thing hurt. And I said, then devil try to play with my mind. I'm trying to fight it, because I'm on the path. You're not on the path, you're doing wrong. That made no sense. How you to do this the path, this right. I'm on the path. I ain't doing much, I'm just doing a little something. But I'm still following, I'm still believing. He said, no, you ain't. You turn your regard, your foot, it turned. How did you get there? You turned. That means you missed. Then you're in violation. So I had to see it. If you got a commitment and he tell you all right, you're doing wrong, you don't have nothing with him. He'd have never told you that. He never told me that. Never gave me no consolation. You trying, never. That thing you'd hurt too. It'd hurt bad. Before you tell me, you're a good nigga though. Yeah, but you be helping people. That stuff, it never worked. It never worked. I'd just be sitting there, I'd just be crying. I'd be smart. I couldn't even smile, just put it, I'd just be sitting there, just like, it ain't working. They trying to talk to me, calm down. He'll never make that commitment. If you think he made that commitment with you, you a kazar. You a lie. My friend, you a blood kazar. That makes you a damn liar. Dam is the Abary word for blood. You're a blood kazab. You are a damn liar. He will not make that agreement with you. The only agreement he made, you had to get out of it. That's the only agreement he'll acknowledge. Your foot got to stay. Your feet got to keep it. It's a certain way you got to walk. Regardless, it's a certain way you got to walk. That's how you got to look at it. You got to stay. And he told you, it's narrow. It's straight. When you do wrong, it's like this. I just loving and following the Lord. Just stand on the pathway. He said, you know why y'all laughing? Because I just told you, you look ridiculous. You know, it's funny. You look ridiculous because the way it's straight. And it's narrow. You got to see it that way. It's straight and narrow for a reason. Don't you got to watch how big you are? If something narrow, what you something narrow? You can run anything through it. You got to trim down for it. I mean, you got to get rid of some stuff. You got to get rid of weight. It's some stuff won't let you in because it's too narrow. Hello? I don't know where they understood everything because of how it was. That's the only way they understood it. When a man came along and told you it was easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man, they're going to tell us, see, the eye of the needle, the camel do this here and get on the belly and go through like that, the eye of the needle. I don't do no stupid stuff like that. That man knew, he's talking about a sewing needle. That's right. Because you're trying to tell me, that don't make sense to tell me that if the camel can do it, then it's possible. He was not talking about you need to be broke. He was saying if a person think that their riches are going to be their possession and get them in, it's impossible. That a camel with a hump, the camel don't need a hump, it can't go through no needle. Right. The doing thread barely go through him. Right. The fact that he told you a camel going through the eye of a needle is telling you how impossible it is for you to get in with your riches. Right. That's what they knew. You look at a camel, you look at a needle, and you look at a camel, you say, that's impossible. He said, that's what I'm trying to tell you, but I told you it's easier for that. Because I need you to put in your mind the concept of if a camel in no way can fit through the eye of a needle, I'm telling you that's easier than for you to get in thinking your rich is going to do it. Then you will know that you have to separate between the two to realize my things, my possessions will not get me in. It makes no sense to look to them. He said, possessing all things, you're having nothing. You learn the things he give you, these are loans. Your kids, your wife, everything you got, these loans. We learned that from Shamuth, they call Samuel. He told Yahuwah to Baraka, Elkanah, and his Shah, his wife. He said, for the loan of the child. So they gave Shamuth to him, to Ali. They gave it to him and told him that he could get the child. He said the loan. So Ali, he didn't give you one for the loan. All these are loans. People get stuff, think it's yours forever. Ain't none of this stuff yours. You possessing it. You possessing something other people have. Other people got to come in the world. You know how they going to come in the world? When you go out. Everybody got a number on them. Somebody got to come in. You got to go. You know what? What they would have, Boss, you put it out. What they have? Remember that time they had put that up. Goodbye, got on. Put up when they had the three Kohan, the three Rosh Kohan. Put it up for me and put it up so I can see it. So I can show it to him right quick. Yeah, he'll put it up though. So I can show it to y'all. when they had the 3 Rosh Kohans. What's wrong, Boston? They didn't have them? How many they would have? So how they get the second one? Can't have no 2 and 3 Rosh Kohan. You only have 1. Another one come in after that one gone. Don't you know you're gonna have to leave here for somebody else to come? Okay. Just keep believing it. Man, life recyclable. Don't make this thing here recyclable. You're gonna leave him, somebody else coming in. That as soon as a baby die, another one coming in. Make no mistake. So it started teaching you the pattern. You realize, man, listen, there's something he loaned you. And guess what? I got more people coming. That's all you gotta remember. He got more people coming. You know what that means, don't it? We got to go. Do y'all realize everybody on the planet right here now went here 200 years ago? Not one of them. 150 years ago? 125 years ago? Not one of them here. These are all new set of people. You know how many times people done translated since then and transferred over? And he gonna keep doing it. And that man finna set him up a whole Malku. Where he gonna translate these people out and translate some people in here. You better consider your life a vapor smoke. If you sit around, you take stuff for granted. Everybody in here, there's everything you got alone. Think about it. You release a breath that you got to catch again. Can you think about it? How many of y'all breathing right now? How exactly breathing work? You know, eventually, you ain't gonna be able to get it back. You're gonna put it out, it ain't coming back because it's alone. Think about it. Something going out of you and coming back in. How long you think they can keep working? Go to the hospital and 7 of them people got a machine on them. And then why the machine ain't gonna help? They let you know it's limited. You only here for a short period of time. You ain't got time to keep being no stupid fool. You better consider your life. And you'll be in a casket before you know it. And once you hit that casket, you can't make nothing up. You can't clean nothing up. You can't repent for nothing. You out of him. How you gonna play with a man that you got something going in? It'd be different. You get it and you get to keep it. You got it. Nobody can't take it from you. Stupid, you gotta breathe out. We mean you just lost it. And I let you get it back. Think about it. You breathe out. You lost it. Now you gotta get it back in again. How long you think you keep doing that? In and out, in and out, in. How long you keep doing that? Yeah. Keep playing with him. You smart. Come on, finish this up. Listen.
Woe to me, the Ish who shall save me from the basar of this moot.
Y'all see that? And get what he realized. Destruction to me. This man looking for something we want to know. He wants to know who shall save me from this body of this moot. Who gonna save me from it? This stuff dying. He was like, because of how I operate with the Turah, who gonna save me? They want to know who gonna save me. Come on.
I shall barak Elohim through Yahushua HaMashiach, our Adon.
Yes.
So in the mind, I hereby serve the Turah of Elohim. With my basar, I serve the Turah of Qatar.
See that? Now he's letting us know how we do it. So he said, with the mind, with the inner part of me. He said, that's how I serve him. He said, but with the basar, I serve sin. So let's see what happened. 8th chapter. Listen.
There is then now no condemnation for those in which they are in the Mashiach.
See that? Listen why.
Who do not halak after the basar,
but
according to the Ruach.
Listen.
For the Turah of the Ruach of Kai, which is in HaMashiach, Yahushua has released me to free from the Turah of Qatar and of Muth.
So when Shaul was talking, this is why people mess up. They find this stuff by chapter. These are all one letter being written. He's telling you about the state you're in, according to where we were. He just asked you, who gonna save me? Based off of, he looking at the base of my ideology, based off my examination, this whole thing, I'm a dead man. Because, listen, I want to do right, I can't do right. What I intend to do, I can't do. I want to do it, but I can't. I'm always doing the stuff I ain't got no business. This only lead to one end. I'm going to die. So now I need to be looking for a man. I'm looking for a man that can save me from this wretched way of the person that I am. Y'all hear me? He said, now with the mind I serve him, I can read it. I can think on it. I can consider. I just can't get the flesh to comply. So I know this is a direct violation. I'm going to die. So now he's telling me what I need to do. Well, now there's no condemnation to them that's in the Mashiach who don't halak according to who? That's right. They don't walk according to, because the flesh is what get me bobbing and weaving, got me off center. But they walk according to the Ruach, which they allow the word now to become governing to them, that they can sustain the flesh. Because I look at all the penalties and the violations of the flesh. Part of it works because now I have a knowledge of, part of it works because I have a fear of. They both work together. I got to have a fear of, and I got to have a knowledge of what's going to happen when I don't. Y'all got it. I got to have a knowledge. So now we come into the being, where we come into the discerning of. I come into discern now. As a ben, a son, I come into the being where I learn to discern. Y'all got me?
Yes, sir.
I begin to understand that there is no condemnation to them that are in the Mashiach, who don't walk after the flesh. Now, what does he tell me after that?
For the Turah of the Ruach of
I'm talking about the law. For the law of the what?
Ruach of Cain.
Of the one to life now. Because we talking about the Ruach. Remember, he breathed in the man nostril, what the man become? That's a life. That's what we talking about. We talking about that Ruach. We talking about that law. The law that he took a dead man from the ground and breathed in his nostril and the man lived. That's a law. He breathed into a dead man nostril and the man lived. That's a law. He said, that's why I'm looking at that law. I'm looking at the Ruach of life. What gives life? Come on, son.
Which is in Mashiach Yahushua.
Which is in the anointed one.
Has released me to free from the Turah of Kata. And
He done opened he opened the gates of the captives. That's what he just did. He just opened the gates of the captive. Every time I look around, I stay him. It's been my whole life. Till he came along, he opened the gates. He opened the gates of the captive and set us free. So there's another law we're looking at. See, and this is what we're trying to get. We're trying to obtain this estate. Where we've been is in 7th chapter. Where we want to do it, we think about it, we read it. We'll sing the Ruach Shir, the spiritual song, but we still couldn't apprehend or appertain it. We still couldn't encompass it. But now he started to tell us why. Now we need to be governed by a different law, where we let the Ruach now totally come in and come in compliance with, because we consider the latter end. Everything you see going on in the world in the long day, you need to see it happen. All they're gonna give him a feel. He gonna look at where you. I don't get it. People going out here. What are you going to? The COVID it's so retarded. This COVID is normal now. If I heard you could say call me. They thought you said COVID, and they done ran in front of traffic. You couldn't say nothing. Start. Remember that everybody masked up like bank robbers, folk rent, and they said, well, just uncover, live normal. It don't state the fact that it's still him. See, and this is what he showed you. You'll keep lying to yourself. So I just can't live with no fear to it. And he showed you, did that make it go away? But everybody lie to themselves. You can't worry, but see, you just got to stop worrying about it. Did that make it go away? He leave it right here to show you. This is how you mask your life. You tell yourself lies. That's how you got up. I ain't going to Sheol. I don't believe it. I don't believe I'm going to die. I believe I'm right. Just like you believe COVID gone. It's still him. See, he keep trying to show, but this is what man does. At first, man was scared for his life, man. You ain't hard to see folks. You could drive down the expressway with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
Folks was scared. What about going away? Man, you stand like it'd be 2 people in the line, and it'd be 80 feet between both of them. You walk, you see the back of somebody, you say, man, I ain't getting that line. That thing too long. You look right at it, like, there's 2 of y'all? Man, get your behind up there. People like, no, I ain't getting. Some people still operate how you need to be ruaching. I've been in line. I said, you got to move up. This junk irritating. Man, we've sent so far. I'm like, why are you so far back here? Because you know how she operates. COVID's still here. I'm operating on, listen, we got to keep moving. Now, this is natural. There are some of us operating like Elohim told us by complying with the dietary law, complying with the dressing law, complying with other ones. And we look like people, like this lady was to me. You need to go on. You need to stop trying to hold back. Y'all understand that? Sure. See, how many of y'all done seen these people still operate like COVID, like brand new? And they get on your nerve. You think, but you know these people, right? Honestly, it is still him. Yeah. They trying to look at us like, I don't know what y'all doing. Right. COVID's still him. Yeah. They looking at us and they trying to figure out what we're doing. We're looking at the structure still. They saying, Jesus done came and paid for it all. We said, no, destruction's still him. And that man is coming back and he gonna put recompense on everybody. So we, in a way, simulate these people who still acting in COVID like it's brand new. They don't care what nobody said, no president, and what no CDC said. I'm still staying 6 to 10 feet off from you. I'm still masking. I'm still here. You're like, man, this ain't got time for all that. They're looking at you can. I'm sanitizing. That's how you're like, man, come on, man, we can't agree. That's how we supposed to be rocking. Regardless of what the culture does and what the culture turn away to, we still operate Yahuwah coming back in.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
That's too. Does that make you hear? Appreciate Mr. Yahuwah. Appreciate Mr. Yahuwah. Appreciate for another union. That my palau that